Lurking in the shadows, he grips his bow as a night battalion marches past. For any ordinary marksman, this would be a death sentence. Facing an army of steel, he remains ice cold, calculating every shaft and every soul before unleashing absolute hell. One helmet splits, then another, before the screams even register or the source is identified. A third of their ranks are already corpses. Yu Sang-hyun delivers lethal headshot after headshot with god-tier precision. His fire rate is insane, keeping the survivors at bay. The slaughter intensifies, until a lone survivor stands amidst the carnage. He flees in terror, but Sang-hyun lines up the final kill shot. In this brutal fantasy realm, no one can rival Yu Sang-hyun, a former world-class archery prodigy from the modern era. But how did this legend begin? Rewind to the national championship finals, where the roar of the crowd is deafening. Every lens is fixed on the teenage phenom Yu Sang-hyun. With only one shot remaining, he's maintained a flawless 10-point streak. He exhales, stills his heart, and lets the final arrow fly. The projectile pierces the bullseye, Robin Hooding the previous shaft. This impossible feat secures his gold medal, crowning him the youngest champion in history. Fast forward 10 years, and Sang-hyun is rotting in a cubicle, enduring a verbal beatdown from his manager. His fingers twitch as he stammers a quiet apology, dismissed as a corporate failure. Later that night, in a pitch-black room, he replays the tapes of his former glory. Archery was his entire identity. He'd grinded relentlessly for a scholarship while caring for his grandmother. He was destined for greatness until a tragic crash shattered his dreams. Now he's just a ghost, going through the motions, tied to a pity-hire job from his old coach. Seeking an escape, he browses a full-dive VR streaming platform, featuring tech he'll never afford. He spots a streamer butchering archery basics, but still raking in massive views. Morning brings fresh misery. His boss shoves a resignation letter across the desk, citing corporate downsizing, as a weak excuse to kick him out. At 28, Sang-hyun walks away with zero prospects, but a spark ignites in his mind. In a digital world where limits don't exist, could he wield a bow once more? Diving into the streaming world, he notices a trend: viewers crave authentic mastery and a compelling comeback story. And for once, he feels a flicker of hope, a level playing field where pure grit actually pays off. It's time to bet it all. When he reveals the plan to his buddy Ju-hyuk, the guy's jaw hits the floor. He's stunned that Sang-hyun would dump his life savings into a VR rig without a second of gaming experience. He brings up the trauma and the ruins of his past, but Sang-hyun is unyielding even when faced with the brutal price tag, hitting a staggering 40 million won. Yet Sang-hyun's resolve is ironclad. Recognizing this fire, Ju-hyuk drags him to a high-end capsule hub run by a man named Kang-suk, who boots up a custom archery trial. Suddenly, Sang-hyun is transported into the center of a gargantuan arena. The hyperrealism is staggering, but as his hand grips the riser, his fingers begin to tremble. The phantom of his injury haunts him. But he centers himself, forcing the tremors to vanish. He draws the string, thwack, bullseye, then another, and another. Every shaft finds the dead center. Outside the pod, Kang-suk and Ju-hyuk are speechless. This isn't a gamer playing around. This is god-tier talent. Sang-hyun emerges drained but triumphant. The verdict is in. He's still the GOAT. Ghosts of the past flood back: the screeching tires, the sterile hospital scent the day his world ended. The scars still ache, but the vibe has shifted. He's finally armed again, even if the wood and string are just code. It feels undeniable. Securing a discounted rig, Sang-hyun transforms his room into a battle station. The stream is ready to go live. Rejecting mainstream titles, he opts for a strategic power move, Kingdom Age, a brutal medieval sim, infamous for its punishing difficulty. One character creation later, and his legend officially starts. A blinding flash signals the dive. But instead of a cozy tutorial, he's greeted by a violent slap that rattles his teeth. He's sprawled in a cargo wagon with a stinging red welt on his face. He scrambles up, scanning the horizon. Pure carnage is ripping through a village nearby. Roman, a grizzled mercenary captain, towers over him with a scowl, roaring for the rookie to wake up and arm himself against the bandit raid. A system prompt flickers to life, offering standard steel or spears, but Sang-hyun scrolls until he spots the bow at the very bottom. This move stuns the 5 viewers already watching. They spam the chat, warning him that archery is the ultimate hard mode, citing brutal armor physics and zero room for error. But for Sang-hyun, this spicy challenge is just another Tuesday. Our MC locks it in, and boom, a bow and 20 arrows rain down from the heavens. As they hit the dirt, the chat trolls his rookie face until Sang-hyun actually grips the weapon. Roman sneers, betting his weak vibes won't hit a thing. But our hero just tunes out the noise. Eyes locked on the target, he draws back and releases. 1 arrow, 1 perfect bandit headshot. While the chat screams beginner's luck, Sang-hyun realizes these game physics feel way too natural. It's the perfect sweet spot between his old pro archery days and those hardcore simulations. Top-tier fan Ruby Sword drops some lore. This game maps realistic anatomy for every single headshot. Sang Hyun plans a total wipeout one by one. The chat is literally dying at his sheer audacity. Silence is golden, as our MC lets his skills flex. With glowing eyes, he starts letting fly. Blue energy pulses through the shafts. With 20 arrows for 20 targets, every shot is life or death. Sniping from the shadows of a fence, our hero systematically deletes every target on the field. Then a massive tank with a shield rushes Roman. This guy's defense is basically an iron wall, but Sung Hyun spots a pixel-perfect gap. He knocks, aims, and lets it rip. The arrow defies physics, curving right into the bandit's temple through that tiny helmet slit. Peace returns, but the chat goes dead silent. Sung Hyun panics, thinking he just bored everyone to death. Then the screen detonates with hype. The viewers are losing it because that wasn't just a clear. He just smoked a boss that's impossible for rookies to touch. Everyone's demanding to know how he aimed. Pulling the string to the maximum, Sung Hyun is clueless. To him, full draw aiming is child's play. Roman approaches the newbie, totally shook by that final shot, and the god-tier skill on display. News travels fast as viral clips of this mysterious new streamer flood the gaming forums. He's actually softening up the legendary grump Captain Roman. As things wrap up, Roman demands his name. He needs to report this legend to the top. Our boy smiles at the camera and says, "Call me Almond." Almond starts trending everywhere. The Kingdom Age community was a dead zone before this moment. It was just the same recycled drama and zero updates. A total ghost town of a fandom. The boards were an echo chamber until one post hit, "Total noob gets praised by Roman." That flipped the script. Seeing the captain actually crack a smile triggered a massive war in the comments. Most users screamed clickbait immediately. Everyone knows Roman is the ultimate grump of this world. But the video was undeniable. A player one-taps a boss and then just dips like it's nothing. The community is split. Fans are debating if this rookie is actually a hidden pro in disguise. They suspect an alt-account bow challenge. But creating a smurf in this game is basically impossible. With iris and fingerprint locks on the hardware, it's official, this guy is the real deal. The original poster notes the streamer's name was just auto-generated. Sang Hyun's jaw drops as he reads the hype. He never dreamed his debut would blow up like this. But the real shock comes from the comparisons. They're comparing him to Electron, a former pro who famously failed to master these exact bow mechanics. A rookie succeeding where a legend failed. The internet is absolutely losing its mind right now. Fans worry the pressure will break him, but Sung Hyun isn't scared. He's actually fired up. His heart races with a fire he hasn't felt in ages. All this buzz is pure fuel for him. He's surging with new energy. Next morning, his buddy Ju Hyuk rings him from a crowded cafeteria. Ju Hyuk checks in, and Sung Hyun casually drops that he hit 20 viewers on night 1. Ju Hyuk literally leaps out of his seat, causing a scene. He has to apologize to everyone nearby. He whispers in shock, trying to process how a total first-timer pulled those numbers. Sang Hyun blames the game's popularity, but Ju Hyuk knows it's nothing but raw, uncut talent. The call cuts off as a furious manager starts screaming at Ju Hyuk for slacking on the job. This just fuels Sang Hyun's drive. He's so locked in now that he even skips lunch to grind. He dives back into the capsule. This is his career now, and he won't waste a single second. As he slides into the capsule, his gut protests with hunger, but his gaze remains fixed on the surging audience. The moment he goes live, his jaw drops. 189 souls are already camping in the lobby. Thanks to that viral community post, his following has skyrocketed 9-fold in just 24 hours. The chat is a literal blur, and with so many eyes watching, Sang Hyun's pulse begins to race. Channeling his old athlete's discipline, he triggers a mental hack, detaching himself to view the world from a third-person perspective. Just like that, his nerves vanish into thin air, replaced by a razor-sharp smirk for his loyal fans. He locks into the interface, ready to serve up a god-tier performance. It is time to dive back into the fray. Back at the office, Ju Hyuk is drowning in corporate drama when he realizes he fumbled a critical piece of info. Kang Suk, the capsule's creator, had a vital warning about body optimization that Sang Hyun desperately needs to hear. But before he can hit send, Ju Hyuk is dragged into another soul-sucking meeting, leaving the secret untold. Now our hero is sealed inside his pod, flying blind into day 2 without a single clue about the technical danger. Before hitting the hay, Sang Hyun grinds through some late-night research to level up his new streaming career. He analyzes the pros, dissecting how they control a crowd, and studying the massive fails he needs to avoid. He notes the big taboos like how flexing your viewer count can actually kill the vibe and drive people away. He also clocks the importance of building friendly rivalries and creating that one-on-one intimate energy with the chat. The goal is to make the audience feel like they are just hanging out with a bro inside his high-tech capsule. When day 2 kicks off, our boy is feeling locked and loaded. He scrolls through the viewer list with purpose. He spots familiar handles like Ruby Sword, Eggplant, and Mr. Dummy popping off in the chat. Aiming for that personal touch, he flashes a grin and gives the OGs a warm shout-out for returning. The chat loses its collective mind, and the streaming genius labels start flying everywhere. It is a bit much for him to handle, but there is no time to waste. It is time to jump into the game. A blinding flash signals the full dive sync, and when Sang-hyun's eyes snap open, the world has shifted. He is suddenly mounted on a sturdy brown steed in a lush, sprawling landscape. Talk about a jarring wake-up call. The game drops him straight into the heat of things since he stayed logged in after the cameras cut yesterday. After Roman introduced him to the mercenary captain, he secured a high-stakes escort mission. He breaks it down for his 189 viewers. He is officially working as a professional bodyguard. Even though protecting a traveling noble feels more like a boring errand than a grand war, he accepts the quest. The sheer realism blows his mind. He can actually feel the rhythmic trot of the horse beneath him. Roman pulls up alongside him, asking if this is his first time in the saddle, and Sang-hyun plays it cool. Almost as if the world is guiding his responses, he gets the usually stone-faced Roman to roar with laughter. Roman promises there is plenty more riding ahead, a friendly vibe that leaves the veteran viewers completely baffled. They have never seen the captain this chill, and they start spamming the chat wondering what kind of magic Almond used. How did he flip the captain's script so fast? But the peace does not last for long. The chat is already calling an ambush by mountain bandits just as the system warnings start flashing red. A band of raiders bursts from the tree line led by a red-haired maniac. Roman bellows the order to engage. The defense crumbles instantly as a mercenary is cut down. Things are looking absolutely grim for the squad. While the chat is busy trolling and mocking the difficulty spike, Sang-hyun remains cold as ice. He knows the drill in sports people: doubt you until you silence them. Our hero reaches for a single arrow. 50 hostiles are closing in fast. Instead of trash-talking, he decides to let his aim do the talking. He locks onto his target, drawing the bowstring back with a steady, calculated hand as he tracks the lead riders. With a snap, the arrow streaks across the field, burying itself dead center in the bandit leader's skull. The kill is so clean and sudden that Roman and the mercenaries freeze, completely stunned by the display of skill. As the bandit king hits the dirt, the chat goes silent for a heartbeat before erupting in pure, unadulterated shock. Many viewers are calling cap, arguing, "It is impossible to even spot an enemy at that range, let alone land a headshot." Sang-hyun is just confused by the hype. To him it was simple, he just sniped the guy in the front. Ignoring the frantic spamming in the chat, our MC stays locked in. He senses this bloodbath is far from over, and begins knocking his next lethal shots. Moving from shadow to shadow, he systematically deletes every bandit in sight. With every snap of his bowstring, another raider hits the deck, sending the remaining survivors into a total panic. Sang-hyun isn't letting a single one escape. Pulling his bow to the absolute breaking point, he mutters a quick apology, and releases a final shot that ends the encounter for good. This insane carry immediately puts the Kingdom Age community on notice. A top-tier streamer named Acorn Jelly is scrolling through the forums when he catches a viral post about a rookie one-tapping a boss. At first, he thinks it's pure cap, labeling any bow user a weirdo looking for a pointless handicap. But the moment he actually hits play on the footage, his smug attitude completely evaporates. He notices these bandits didn't just die, they were instantly deleted by arrows that straight up ignore the game's usual survival mechanics. As his hands start to shake, Jelly realizes he's witnessing a perfect shot, a god-tier skill level that is virtually extinct. Enemies usually drop instantly from critical hits, but bosses are built differently. Yet a legendary hidden mechanic exists, where a perfect strike ignores all limitations and hits harder than a standard headshot. Since the requirements are high-key impossible, needing a vital point snipe within 1.5 seconds of an ambush, most pros think it's just a myth. Watching a newcomer spam this like it's easy mode has Jelly wondering if this guy is a hacker or an actual Olympic medalist. Cut back to the game where our boy is charging on horseback at full speed, with a squad of bloodthirsty mercenaries on his tail. Captain Roman pulls up and shouts that a spear would be way smarter since landing arrows while galloping is a total nightmare. The chat definitely agrees. Spamming that mounted archery is the ultimate skill check for players. Despite the logic, Almond stays ice cold, sticking to his bow because it's his comfort zone. This grit actually touches the grumpy Roman, who suddenly starts acting like a total fanboy, making the chat roast the captain for his blatant favoritism. As the heat turns up, our MC realizes he's never sniped a moving target while balancing on a galloping beast. The pressure triggers his old trauma, making his hands shake uncontrollably. He knows there's no backing down now, so he locks in, syncing his body to the horse's rhythm. The moment he finds the zone, he lets an arrow fly that skewers a bandit's throat. He missed the head, but the kill is still clean, and the chat goes absolutely feral. He leans into the wind, sharpening his focus and amping his speed, as he starts chaining headshots that drop bandits like flies. By the time the carnage ends, the whole enemy squad is erased. Roman is shook, giving our guy a massive thumbs up, and hailing him as a god-tier marksman. The other mercs join the hype, calling him a modern-day Robin Hood. Mid-celebration, a massive alert nukes the screen. Acorn Jelly just dropped a donation of 100,001. demanding to know if those perfect shots were actually legit. Since this is the first time Almond has ever banked such a massive bag, he's visibly flustered. The viewers start demanding a proper donation reaction, pushing him to do something bow-related. Trying to be a bro, our boy fires an arrow straight into the heavens, as a victory salute. He looks at the cam and drops a ta-da, just as the shaft vanishes into the sky. Sadly, this sudden flex, combined with his potato PC, triggers a total system meltdown. The screen bleeds red with a game over alert before cutting to pitch black. In a comedic twist, the fans think this was a big-brain comedic exit. The post-stream chat is absolutely losing it, crowning him a legend who literally dies for his fans' donations. Back in reality, Song-Yoon sits in his pod, drenched in sweat and totally drained. He's worried his ancient rig finally croaked, but a quick phone check proves the stream ended on a massive W. Since the community thinks that Suicide Shot was genius, his popularity is skyrocketing. He realizes his athletic background saved the trajectory, though he's not about to explain the nerdy technical details to his fans. While vibing in the kitchen, he decides to search for acorn jelly, and is high-key impressed by the veteran's stats. Suddenly, a notification pings on his phone. In a shocking turn, Acorn Jelly has slid into his DMs to personally greet the rookie sensation. But Jelly isn't just some gamer. He's a massive industry titan, with nearly 1 million subs and a mountain of content watching Sang-Hyun. Sang-Hyun hungers for that elite level of fame. He meticulously dissects the veteran's profile. Suddenly, a notification from the top-tier streamer pops up, throwing our MC into a total tailspin. In the DM Acorn, Jelly admits he's absolutely hooked on Almond's insane mechanics. After a quick joke to keep things platonic, he drops a collab proposal. He envisions a high-level exchange of pro-tier secrets, maybe even a reaction vid, a chill way to break the ice. But Sang-Hyun is torn. He knows this link-up would skyrocket his career into the stratosphere, but he dreads being labeled a clout chaser. Then the plot thickens even further. Sang-Hyun realizes he's flying solo with zero industry insiders to guide him. Just as the isolation sinks in, his phone buzzes, it's Ju-hyuk. His buddy is chilling on a park bench, sounding weirdly hyped despite the box of personal desk items beside him. Ju-hyuk drops the news. He's officially quit his corporate gig following a legendary blow-up with a manager named Park. Sang-Hyun is shocked, but Ju-hyuk explains that seeing his friend crush it in archery, even in VR, sparked a fire in him to find his own passion. This shared epiphany changes everything. Ju-hyuk boldly declares himself Almond's new manager. He waves away any talk about salary or money. Abandoning a corporate ladder doesn't scare him. He's betting everything on landing a massive contract within a year. When he hears about the collab invite, Ju-hyuk's eyes light up with pure ambition. It's the ultimate stage to flex his management muscle. He gives Sang-Hyun the green light. Tell him to let Ju-hyuk handle the politics and logistics so RMC can focus purely on his god-tier aim. Cut to a sleek cafe, the setting for their high-stakes meeting. A manager named Nayeon is doubtful, questioning why they're meeting a newbie at a regular cafe. The legend himself, Dojae Mock, acknowledges Almond's raw talent while rocking a massive ego. Nayeon roasts him about a previous collab disaster, but J-Mock doubles down. Almond's mechanics are top-tier national level. This is a strategic play for the future. But when Nayeon asks if they've even met in real life, J-Mock's silence says it all. He's gambling on pure instinct and a few clips. That doubt evaporates the second Sang-Hyun walks in. Rocking a crisp, tailored suit, he looks like a total star. Nayeon is instantly dazed by his visuals. He introduces himself as Yu Sang-Hyun, with a professional handshake that shatters every gamer stereotype. The tension spikes as Ju-hyuk steps forward, introducing himself as the man in charge. He deals out sleek business cards, leaving Sang-Hyun baffled as to when he even prepped them. Ju-hyuk's corporate-level charisma is so overwhelming that Nayeon feels completely outclassed. She keeps bowing, feeling like a total amateur next to him. As they dive into the broadcast details and the paperwork, the talk turns to cold, hard business. Sang-Hyun, feeling like a total rookie, offers to collab for zero pay. This shocks the pros. Unpaid work is a total industry sin. It would be a PR nightmare for their brand. Ju-hyuk suggests minimum wage, proving even a corporate genius is still learning the streaming economy. J-Mock laughs off the hourly rate idea. Instead, he offers an even 50-50 split of all donations during the stream. This insane deal floors Ju-hyuk and signals the official birth of Almond's pro era. With the sun setting, the duo walks through the city, tracking their early momentum. Their partnership is already looking gold. Ju-hyuk has been grinding on industry research and reveals that a small cut from the Acorn Jelly collab could easily bag them over 1 million won. Our hero is shook by his friend's vision, especially when Ju-hyuk pulls out a digital recording for legal backup. This level of insane detail shows why Ju-hyuk was a beast in the corporate world. To keep it 100, Ju-hyuk offers a deal he won't take a cent until Sang-Hyun clears 3 million, won a month. He jokes that he's an investment prodigy, so money isn't an issue. This lets him focus on Almond's growth over quick cash. When our MC dives back into VR, his chat explodes. Viewers are desperate for collab tea because the leaks are already everywhere. A massive crowd floods his stream, forcing him to keep a poker face and act totally clueless. Sticking to the script to hype the fans, he boldly declares he's hunting a notorious bandit king. Kingdom Age veterans lose it in the chat, mercilessly trolling him for such a delusional claim. Since bosses literally cannot be one-shot, the viewers are hit with a wave of pure confusion. He fumbles a name only for the chat to roast him. He only took down a mere elite mob. It was just Burka, not a boss. This doubt triggers a high-stakes donation that changes everything. Ruby Sword drops a massive bounty, 100,001, if he lands that impossible one-shot kill. Fueled by the fat paycheck and the electric vibe, Sang-hun locks in and accepts the dare. He dives in. The world shifts as Amelia, a stunning blonde noble, greets him with a warm smile. She pours out her thanks for his bravery. Despite the chat screaming for gold, Sang-hun resists. He plays the noble mercenary, a move that skyrockets his affinity with the NPCs and his fans. The chat splits between Team Amelia and those simping for the dark horse heroine Rosalita. But the vibes break fast when Captain Roman rallies everyone for a desperate midnight mission. They launch a raid on a bandit nest, shrouded in mountain mist, striking hard from the shadows. In the heat of battle, the game feels terrifyingly real, blurring the lines of virtual reality. Handling the bow with an athlete's precision, his concentration sharpens into a deadly razor-edged focus. He methodically snipes enemies from the dark, until his god-tier precision triggers a legendary new skill, consecutive shooting. After 3 straight headshots, he unlocks a move that normal players cannot even touch. His insane speed turns arrows into streaks of white light, purging the camp with terrifying efficiency. The chat freezes. They realize it is not the game skill that is fast, it is the monster holding the bow. In the aftermath, a mercenary finds the boss slumped over an arrow buried deep in his skull. Viewers are losing their minds, screaming that a boss-level mob should not drop from a single shot. When it looks like a glitch, a massive donation from the legend Acorn Jelly confirms the reality. Song-yoon pulled off a legendary perfect shot, an exploit that deletes health bars instantly. He is left speechless. As he struggles to grasp the god-tier skill he just unleashed, the entire community goes into frenzy. Acorn Jelly swears it is a hidden mechanic, but his own chat starts roasting him for being delusional. They claim the perfect shot is just a coping myth invented by salty, bottom-tier archers. Fuming at the haters, Acorn Jelly watches Almond's stream, desperate for him to explain the hidden tech. But when the clueless Song-yoon asks, "Wait, what's a perfect shot?" the pro streamer's jaw literally drops. He is wide-eyed with shock. Our boy legit does not get why everyone is geeking out over his gameplay. Acorn Jelly collapses at his desk. This newbie is pulling off pro-level mechanics without even knowing it. He is a natural-born genius. Acorn Jelly starts wondering if he is witnessing the birth of a gaming god. Seizing the hype, Acorn Jelly sends another fat stack to lock in the ultimate collaboration. He proposes a joint stream for tomorrow, and the live chat absolutely explodes with pure hype. A rookie landing a Tier 1 celebrity collab just 3 days in. This is historic main character energy. Sang-hun is shocked, but fans worry that getting close to the big leagues might get him cancelled. A debut disaster, please. He plays it cool, noticing that even the haters are secretly dying to watch. Ruby Sword seals the deal, pledging another 100,001 if he proves the shot is real. If he can replicate that legendary shot live, the cash is his. He flashes a confident, determined smirk. Almond accepts. The collab is on. But before logging off, our hero has one final surprise for fans. To celebrate his massive win, he decides to give the viewers a flashy grand finale performance. With the boss dead and the collab hyped, he draws his bow for one final epic celebratory shot. It soars into the moonlight as he thanks the whales. But gravity in this game is way too real. The arrow plummets straight down, impaling him and splashing a bloody game over screen across the stream. Chat is absolutely howling at the fail. As the chaos subsides, Song-yoon finally wakes up in the real world. Splashing cold water on his face, he worries if getting brutally ejected from the game is actually frying his brain. The sensory feedback is just that intense, making him fear for his literal gray matter. Suddenly, a notification from his manager Joo-hyuk snaps him back, asking for their rendezvous point. Song-yoon's baffled. He assumed the meeting was virtual, but Joo-hyuk drops a major reality check on their deal. They'd locked in a face-to-face interview. Realizing he'd totally blanked, our protagonist's panic turns into a race against the clock. He pings Huggy Station as the spot. While gearing up, he sees the internet is already losing its collective mind. Fans are buzzing about his suicide endings and the upcoming collab, with deep dive breakdown videos already going viral. One user scrubs his boss kill in frame-by-frame slow-mo, but those shots were just too lightning fast to track. Nobody can tell if it was one arrow or two fueling the massive hype for this legendary partnership. The community is torn. Is Almond a god-tier pro or just a wizard at elite video editing? The hype reaches a boiling point. when Juhyuk reveals that Acorn Jelly's teaser video is absolutely blowing up. It smashed 40,000 views in a single hour, showcasing a slick edit of Almond's lethal silhouette and arrows. The trailer closes by questioning the existence of the perfect shot. Thanks to this marketing masterclass, the next day's stream shatters viewership records across the entire platform. Tension thickens in the professional studio as Acorn Jelly touches base with a nervous Song-yoon. He's confirming if the kid is ready for the big face reveal. Song-yoon fixes his fit while the crew preps. As the red on-air sign flickers to life, the broadcast officially begins. A tidal wave of greetings hits him. Song-yoon's stunned as the live count starts at a massive 10,000 and rockets toward 40,000. He watches Acorn Jelly work the crowd like a seasoned pro. The veteran keeps the energy high, stalling for more viewers until he finally pumps his fist in victory. He announces they're finally proving the perfect shot is real, causing the chat to erupt into chaotic hype and doubt. Thousands are chanting Almond's name. Following a theatrical intro, the screen shifts to a radiant, glowing backdrop. The host presents the genius archer of the hour. With this being his first face reveal, the anticipation is insane. Chat is spiraling. While haters jokingly pray for a mid-face, the camera pans up to reveal Sang-yoon's denim jacket. Those sharp features and icy blue eyes shatter all expectations, causing the chat to explode with shock and simping. Some fans feel betrayed by how handsome he is, while others start rainmaking with a flood of donations. Even Acorn Jelly fanboys admitting he was just as shook when they first met. The viewers are so stunned that some claim he's using a fake face filter. When the pro asks the audience, between an interview or gameplay, the crowd is split between staring at his face or the legendary shot. Amidst the blur of a chat moving way too fast to read, J-Mock tries to maintain professional order. He attempts to ground the stream before they finally dive straight into the gameplay. The vibe shifts when J-Mock asks for Sang-yoon's optimization code, only to be met with a blank stare. Turns out our protagonist has zero clue what that even is, leaving J-Mock absolutely floored. This code syncs a player's brain and body to the capsule. Since Song-yoon skipped this, he's been playing with a massive handicap like dragging a heavy sandbag. Juhyuk clutches his head in shame. He realized he was the one who forgot that crucial step. This massive oversight explains why Song-yoon kept getting forcefully ejected upon death. He just assumed the game was designed to kick you out. He thought it was a penalty, but his system was actually crashing from zero optimization. J-Mock is left stunned. He concludes, "Our boy is a certified genius for pulling off world-class feats under such trash conditions." Sang-yoon leans into the praise calmly, agreeing he might be a genius. This humble flex makes the audience love him. After running the optimization, a blue flash signals he's ready. He finally dives back into the virtual world. Feeling weightless and fluid, he finally sees the digital space as it was meant to be. J-Mock is hyped. They launch a mission to a goblin cave. During the wagon ride, J-Mock breaks down the perfect shot. It requires sniping a microscopic center point on an enemy's vital organ on the very first attempt. With 0-second chances, it's the ultimate high-skill move. Suddenly, the professional vibe is interrupted by Captain. Captain Roman's blatant favoritism is comedy gold. He ruthlessly blasts J-Mock for yapping, even threatening to slice him down the middle. Yet the moment they hit the cave, he's all smiles and hype for Sang-hoon. Total 180-degree flip. Roman commands our hero to spearhead the charge and school the newbie. Slipping through the dense brush, Sang-hoon feels the difference instantly. His optimized build makes every movement feel butter smooth and precise. He draws his string with cold intensity, sniping goblins with absolutely terrifying mechanical precision. Every shot is a clinic in efficiency, especially when one arrow skewers two monsters in a single flight. Crouched behind his shield, J-Mock is floored by how Almond silenced his shooting style for this stealth run. During the ambush, he realizes Sang-hoon packs more than just cracked aim. He has massive main character energy. It's like a permanent spotlight follows him. As the final mob drops, the UI confirms what we already knew. Our hero is the undisputed GOAT here. The cave is now a graveyard of green filth, and the system chimes in. Every single mob has been wiped from the map. As the smoke clears, Captain Roman gives Almond a proud nod. He's hyped about Almond's god-tier efficiency. As the squad regroups, the live chat is absolutely losing it with excitement. They know this death trap usually claims players' lives, but not today. Meanwhile, Acorn Jelly is just staring speechless. He watches our protagonist stand there unfazed, realizing a raid meant for a whole squad was basically soloed. One man just dismantled a high-level dungeon, desperate to hype up this legendary moment. J-Mock sprints to his virtual cam, screaming his lungs out about the absolute power of that perfect shot. He claims it's more than a kill, it's a hidden instant death mechanic. But the chat isn't buying the hype just yet. They're trolling him, saying a headshot is just a headshot no matter how much he tries to glaze it. The celebration gets cut short as Roman points toward the smoke-choked entrance of the cave. He commands the mercs to ignite a massive brush pile, aiming to smoke out any leftover trash mobs. The goal is an easy cleanup. They stand silhouetted against the roaring fire until a bone-chilling screech shatters the air. A massive clawed hand tears into the ground. Emerging from the flames is a hulking goblin champion. Red eyes glow through the smoke as the beast roars. A system warning flashes. Eliminate the goblin champion. The stream goes wild. It's an actual boss fight and everyone is spamming challenges for Almond to step up. Can his perfect shot actually drop a monster? This big Roman bellows for the squad to brace for impact. A panicked J-Mock reminds Almond that his special skill conditions are live. Our hero draws back with razor-sharp focus. But right at the peak of the tension, he freezes and lowers his bow. That split-second hesitation sends the stream into a frenzy. Fans are wondering if our boy is finally folding under the boss-tier pressure. But Almond sees the problem. The boss is rocking a heavy iron skull mask, making a standard forehead shot impossible. A head-on snipe won't work. He briefly weighs his options, looking for any other vital weak point. Yet he knows the head is the only way down. With a sudden look of pure resolve, our hero shifts gears. He adjusts his footing and aims his bow almost vertically into the sky. The chat is beyond confused right now. Fans are trolling, asking if he's rage-quitting again. Ignoring the noise, Almond finally releases the string. The arrow streaks toward the full moon. He knows a perfect shot just needs to hit the mark somehow. It doesn't have to be the forehead. The arrow peaks, then plunges straight down, slipping right behind that iron helmet. It skewers the champion's brain from above. The impact is so brutal, the beast's neck literally snaps forward. Its massive frame slams into the dirt. Roman and J-Mock are paralyzed. It takes a moment to process. Then the stream absolutely explodes. Chat is moving at light speed. J-Mock throws his hands up, screaming in hype. The donations start raining down instantly. A viewer named Ruby Sword kicks things off with a massive flex. A $200,001 donation hits the screen. Almond is actually sweating from the sheer pressure of these alerts. Back in reality, Sang-Hun climbs out of his capsule totally wiped. He notes these rigs really need better cooling. Even the newest models run way too hot. Meanwhile, J-Mock and Naeun are doing a joyful victory dance. They're celebrating record-breaking views. But Naeun drops a bomb. The stream actually crashed because the servers were completely overloaded. The chat and donation volume literally broke the internet. Hyuk jumps in, pushing them to resume for an immediate post-game interview. We gotta keep this momentum. Despite looking like a total mess, Sang-Hun steps back in front of the camera. The face reveal hype explodes as fans label him a Robin Hood with top-tier NPC visuals. J-Mock hilariously claps back at viewers, trolling him for sobbing after the boss finally dropped. But the vibe shifts when the donations hit. Ju-Hyuk and Sang-Hun freeze as Seo-Jia appears. She drops a cool 1 million won, then adds another 100,000 because Almond is literally too handsome. To finish, J-Mock ditches the boring tech talk for a spicy fan-voted Q&A session. Fans are thirsting for Sang-Hun's secrets, grilling him on his skincare, lip tint, and relationship status. Our boy keeps it 100, admitting he's single and uses 0 products. As twilight paints the skyline, the crew sits back, soaking in the wholesome vibes and the wild reality of professional streaming life. While packing, Ju-Hyuk flexes his manager skills with a gift box that totally floors Sang-Hun. J-Mock decides it's time to talk numbers and the cold business side. He pulls out his tablet, revealing the insane total revenue from their massive collaboration. The professional mood shatters into pure shock the second the guys glimpse that screen. Because it was such a hit, the display shows over 5,300,000 won. Sang-Hun and Ju-Hyuk gasp and sink their brains, failing to process that massive figure. That much for one day. Stunned, our hero asks if this level of income is actually normal. J-Mock admits this is a personal record for him too. Then Neon arrives with the caffeine. She breaks it down after the split. Sang-Hun walks away with nearly 2,700,000. The rookies bow low in gratitude, but J-Mock insists he's the one who should be thankful. For the legendary content, the talk shifts to streaming wealth. Ju-Hyuk dives into the business model, and J-Mock explains that while donations are nice, the real bag comes from ads. Platform revenue is like a salary that scales with your viewers. Neon adds that her job is hunting down third-party deals, from game promos to equipment sponsorships. She even points out that J-Mock's current fit is actually a sponsored look. Given Sang-Hun's visuals, she predicts he'll blow up like a superstar. This sparks a joke at J-Mock's expense, as Neon teases the difference between their styles. While funny streamers rely on humor, handsome guys like Sang-Hun can earn 90% on image alone. They laugh about J-Mock being a squid, but the vibe gets serious when Sang-Hun speaks. He values the advice but insists his soul belongs to gaming. J-Mock and Neon respect that, but suggest he eventually branch out into mainstream media. It's the best way to explode his reach and become a household name. They cite legends like Soggy Ramyun who keep their gaming roots while appearing on major networks. For these titans, edited all-tube clips provide the main income, while live streams are for the fans. Those edited clips pay the bills, while the live stream is for fan bonding. Neon urges Sang-Hun to aim for the big leagues eventually. but she warns he'll need a pro editor since Ju Hyuk is a total editing noob. Jae-mok advises patience. Find a specialist once the channel actually starts blowing up. The meeting ends with a firm handshake as Sang-hoon and Ju Hyuk head out. Standing in the cold, Jae-mok is in total awe, admitting to Neon that he's genuinely jealous. Sang-hoon's raw talent is simply on another level. Later, Ju Hyuk pulls the car over. He knows his friend is overthinking, and reminds him that his talent practically guarantees success. This gives Sang-hoon the spark he needs. Climbing the stone stairs, the biting cold triggers, a sharp memory of his grandmother, and how he'd carry her bags over the ice. A wave of regret hits him. She should be here to see him finally making bank. He finally has enough to change their lives. Sang-hoon stares down at his right hand and tightens it into a fist. He survived the pressure, and the journey is just starting. His hand didn't waver for a single heartbeat. This virtual world had finally granted him a legendary second chance. The very arm that once brought his grandmother endless worry had transformed back into his most powerful weapon. Sensing his grandmother's spirit in his new allies, he vowed to grind harder than ever to repay their faith. He joked about her scolding him for this late career pivot, yet he swore to never stop pushing forward. Meanwhile, the internet was already doing the heavy lifting as community forums exploded with hype over his flawless aim. A god-tier fan edit of his latest stream was catching fire, leaving the entire editing community absolutely stunned. Jae-mok realized that with Sang-yoon's elite visuals and momentum, it felt like the heavens were finally aligning for them. Amidst the peaceful chirping of a fresh dawn, Yoo Sang-hyun stood before the mirror, prepping for the grind ahead. While drying his hair and reflecting on yesterday's game-changing advice, he began deconstructing the two paths to securing the bag. He knew streamers lived on donations and ad revenue, but the elite world of video content was a different beast. That world relied on premium sponsorships and commercial deals, a high-end trajectory that fit our hero's style perfectly. This matched Ju Hyuk's vision perfectly. He wasn't just a gamer, he was a celebrity in the making. His manager was so locked in on this path that he was already scouting major commercial modeling opportunities. Though Sang-hyun wanted to pump the brakes, the focus shifted toward the professional reality of reaching his goals. Realizing he needed a professional-grade editor to land those sponsorships, he started hunting through trending Kingdom Age clips. Suddenly, a sleek Archer montage caught his eye. He froze, seeing his own avatar Almond headlining the thumbnail. The creator was Seojia, the legendary fan who had previously dropped a massive 1 million won donation. He was absolutely floored by the cinematic vibes from the haunting score to the professional-level color grading. The way she structured the narrative made his battle against the bandits feel like a high-budget action movie. Even our hero was stunned by his own intensity, mesmerized by how sharply his glowing yellow eyes were captured. After seeing the explosive love in the comments, he knew he had to hop on a call with his manager. Before he could dial, his phone buzzed. Ju Hyuk was already one step ahead, watching the exact same viral clip. With their bank accounts still looking slim, Ju Hyuk stepped up to handle the high-stakes negotiations personally. He told Sang-hyun to stay focused on the game, while he handled the networking, determined to strike while the iron was hot. Fueled by that confidence, our hero dove back into his gaming capsule for some serious high-stakes preparation. He knew his aim was cracked, but his raw character stats were still lagging far behind the top-tier players. To keep his stream elite, he endured 3 grueling hours of hellish training simulations to sharpen his physical edge. After surviving the absolute highest difficulty, he emerged from the capsule drenched in sweat and gasping for air. But with his next stream looming and his stomach growling, he had zero time to catch his breath. Grabbing a quick snack of milk and almonds, a wave of nervous energy washed over him as he chewed. He wondered how the fans would react to his viral status, knowing the moment of truth was finally here. The true impact of his meteoric rise would be undeniable the second he hit that go live button. Over at Funk headquarters, a stressed-out employee was currently drowning in despair at his cluttered desk. Despite glowing reviews, Kingdom Age's sales were tanking, and he felt the crushing weight of that failure. He prayed for a legendary star player to descend from the heavens and save the project from total ruin. Just as hope flickered out, he stumbled upon the viral Almond edit, and his jaw hit the floor. While the editing was slick, it was the player's raw, untamed talent that truly left him speechless. A rookie with god-tier skills and model-level visuals, he just found the perfect face for a massive marketing blitz. Since the account was brand new, he knew he could lock down a deal before this guy's value hit the moon. He smashed the follow button just as a notification chimed Almond was going live at that exact moment. Tuning in to witness the hype, he was stunned to see the viewer count already exploding past 1,000. As the rookie's fame became undeniable, even Sang-hyun panicked when he saw a sea of 1,000 viewers waiting. His stats were shattering records. The count blew past 1,100, leaving our hero absolutely shook. While Sang-hyun processed the shock, Ju Hyuk watched the numbers climb with a grin, knowing the legend had begun. From his own screen, Ju Hyuk marveled at the sudden influx of fans, feeling the electric thrill of a major win. Hitting that 1,000 viewer milestone is the ultimate test for any aspiring full-time pro. But this sudden explosion of fame brings crushing pressure during his big collaboration with Acorn. Previously, pros handled the tech, but now Sang-yoon is flying solo through absolute chat chaos. He freezes up for a moment, causing the chat to roast him as a total dimwit. Managing 50,000 viewers earlier was only possible with a crew. Now reality sets in. Without that safety net, his heart races and his palms start to get seriously sweaty. Our hero takes a deep breath, greeting his fans and feeling the hype from the crowd. Immediately, the chat demands to know why the screen is dark. They want a face reveal. Sung-yoon watches the flood of messages as the demand to see him reaches a boiling point. Suddenly, Joo Hee-yuk DMs a link to a viral post featuring handsome captures of Sung-yoon's face. Seeing his face framed by digital roses, he realizes his visuals have already gone global. He feels a bit like a flexer, but honestly, he is totally loving the newfound attention. The camera clicks on, and the feed instantly explodes with pure excitement and marriage proposals. Donations flood the screen as fans finally get their chance to shower him with love. They could not tip during the high-speed collaboration, but now they are making it rain. With a quick wave, Sung-yoon dives back into the brutal world of Kingdom Age at dusk. Reborn as Almond in a green cloak, the beautiful Lady Amelia praises his goblin-slaying skills. While the chat swoons over her, Amelia suddenly reaches out and pulls his hands close. This sudden intimacy leaves the audience stunned. How did his affinity climb so fast? With a deadly serious look, she reveals a secret mission intended for his eyes only. She bypasses the guards and points toward a distant castle. Her goal, assassinate the lord there. The stream goes wild while the chat jokes that she is basically handing him a death sentence. Our hero hits accept as a nervous game distributor employee, watches the stream with bated breath. The employee knows the truth. Finishing a castle siege with just a bow is practically impossible. Kingdom Age sieges are legendary for their difficulty, featuring AI that will absolutely swarm you. But the real nightmare is Lord Talaran, a man locked inside impenetrable heavy plate armor. He is the ultimate counter to any archer, yet the employee sees a glimmer of hope. If Sang-yoon pulls this off, he won't just be a streamer, he will be a true star. Inside the game, Almond locks in, knowing he needs these high-stakes risks to reach the top. He calculates that historical accuracy means this castle likely holds no more than 50 defenders. Amelia reveals Talaran's crimes, a tyrant enslaving his own people through crushing high-interest debt. Knowing children are suffering gives him the moral fire to strike as the wolf howls. Stealth mode activated. Sang-yoon creeps through a moonlit cornfield, closing in on the fortress walls. He notices his character feels lighter, his movements whispered and fluid like a true assassin. That grueling 3-hour training session is finally paying off, but the first obstacle is here. 2 guards are patrolling the walkway. If one falls, the other will definitely sound the alarm. Chat starts trolling, claiming that hitting 2 targets at once with a bow makes no sense. Our protagonist does not flinch. His eyes glow yellow as he tells the audience his plan. He has already devised a way to silence them both before they make a single sound. As moonlight glints off his razor-sharp silver arrowhead, he prepares to defy the laws of physics. Skepticism fills the chat. They are convinced this movie-style double shot will not work in-game. But our boy is unfazed, standing tall in the night spotlight to prove the haters wrong. He understands the game's deep physics engine better than anyone watching from the sidelines. He explains the logic. A high-arcing shot will delay the landing of his first deadly arrow. He aims almost vertically, launching the first projectile toward the clouds before knocking another. Twin projectiles slice the air, finding their marks with surgical accuracy. Both sentries take a lethal hit to the cranium simultaneously. Life fades before they can even blink, sending a flaming torch tumbling as they slump down. This god-tier mechanics sets the live stream ablaze. The chat is spamming monster and cheat code after witnessing such an impossible live play. Meanwhile, a scout at Funk Game Distribution watches the screen, his jaw literally hitting the floor. In his entire career tracking pro-level elites, he's never witnessed a natural-born predator like this. Shaken, he rings his director immediately, demanding an emergency meeting to secure this once-in-a-generation talent. They need to sign him before the vultures arrive. Back at the fortress, the weight of the infiltration finally hits Sang-hoon. He scales the massive wall fingers, white-knuckled against the cold stone. Panting, he mutters that this game is a physical hellscape for anything that isn't pulling a bowstring. As viewers wonder about his parkour skills, he reveals he grinded this climb on the most brutal difficulty setting. Catching his breath, he starts hiding the corpses to keep his presence a ghost-like secret. Melding into the darkness, he spots a lone guard, searching for his missing comrades. Almond stays low, buried in shadows, before driving a silent shaft through the man's throat. No struggle, just silence. While he drags the bodies away, the comment section starts blowing up with warnings. The real nightmare begins inside the keep, where the corridors are tight, and melee combat is a death sentence. To blend in, our protagonist loots an armory donning the stiff, heavy plating of a red guard. His cover almost blows when a groggy sentry locks eyes with him, but Sang-hoon doesn't hesitate. He mutes the threat with a point-blank arrow to the heart. This high-stakes tension feels strangely familiar, like the razor-sharp focus from his days on the pro gaming stage. immersed in this kill or be killed reality. He feels his instincts sharpening with every heartbeat. But then, disaster strikes. The heavy echo of his boots betrays him, making the chat scream that the stealth run is officially dead. A guard shrieks for reinforcements, but Almond just pins the man's foot to the floor. The chat thinks he missed, but he's just using the screamer as bait. He rockets through the halls, a blur of motion and lethal intent. His bow sings as guards drop like flies, yet he can't stop one soldier from sounding the alarm. A brass horn blares, and suddenly the hallways are choked with ironclad warriors wielding jagged spears. Trapped and hopelessly outnumbered, the viewers hold their breath, certain this is the end of the road. With the entire garrison on high alert, a phalanx of armored killers charges forward with a roar. They're thirsty for blood as they encircle our hero. The chat descends into a total panic. Since the assassin vibe just got replaced by a full-blown war, viewers assume the game over screen is coming. But Almond is chillingly calm. Getting spotted doesn't matter if there's no one left alive to report it. He reaches for his quiver with hands that move faster than the eye can follow. Knocking 3 arrows at once, he activates his rapid-fire skill, unleashing a storm of wood and steel. A flurry of blurred streaks finds the foreheads of the front line, dropping them instantly. That sheer lethality stops the remaining guards dead in their tracks, their courage evaporating. One survivor's face turns ghostly white. Seeing every single arrow buried perfectly in the center of their helmets, he begins to shake uncontrollably. He screams that they're fighting a literal demon and begs the others to run for their lives. The formation collapses. As they scramble up the stairs in terror, our boy doesn't let up, he hunts them down. Maintaining a rhythmic predatory sprint, he leaves the chat speechless. Is it even possible to aim like that? Almond just scoffs, explaining that it's all about unshakable mental focus, not just the game's physics. He continues sniping skulls while moving at full speed until the hallway is paved with the fallen. Reaching the summit, our hero stands bathed in the torchlight, finally lowering his legendary bow. He coolly brushes a drop of sweat away his silhouette, looking like something out of an epic myth. He flashes a cocky, sharp grin at the camera, asking if they enjoyed the show. The live stream explodes. Marriage proposals and W visuals flood the screen in a chaotic wave of hype. Thanks to this insane performance, big money donations from Ruby Sword and Thor start raining down. Almond's hype is real, as his view count finally starts to skyrocket. Riding that peak confidence, he stalks toward a massive archway to hunt his prey. Shoving open the gargantuan, ironclad gates of the throne room, they let out a haunting groan. Inside, a shadow in obsidian armor sits like a statue upon a cold throne. Forget some frail old man, this guy radiates pure final boss energy, gripping a blade the size of a surfboard. Almond realizes his stealth mission was a total trap all along. Silence shatters as the Lord hurls that massive steel like a spear, forcing Almond to hit the deck. Steel bites deep into the wood behind him. Did you come here to die alone? The Lord's distorted voice rumbles. Things go from bad to worse as a single snap of the fingers summons 3 elite, steel-clad predators to corner him. The chat loses it. These guards have 0 weak points in their plating, looking totally invincible. Fans scream for Almond to grab the boss's sword and start swinging, but he isn't about that heavy weapon life. He knows every puzzle has a solution, tailor-made for his bow. His golden gaze locks onto the lead guard's visor. Seeing a sliver of hope, he slides under a lethal swing and lets an arrow fly point blank. Boom! The impact rips the helmet clean off. The chat freezes in shock, witnessing the impossible. Almond doesn't miss a beat, moving like liquid gold, knocking his next shot and tricking the second helmet into bowling over the third guard. The first guard is tilted and charging blindly. Almond dances around those desperate swings, pulling his bowstring to the breaking point. A final arrow finds its mark right between the eyes, ending it with surgical precision. With the minions erased, Almond stands center stage, staring down the Lord. The boss slowly stands, his armor clanking like a death knell. He marches forward, a walking fortress. Fans notice this boss has 0 gaps in his headgear, making him a literal tank. But Almond doesn't back down. A strange blue aura begins to spiral around his hands and his bow. 3 perfect headshots in a row. The secret conditions are finally met. His eyes ignite with soul fire as he prepares to test his new ultimate move on this monster. It's time for the breakthrough. With his combo fire skill surging, he treats the arrows stuck in the floor like a fresh quiver, snatching them up with lightning speed. Lord Talon just laughs, mocking the puny toothpicks clattering against his impenetrable steel. Even his fans start to panic. Why bring a bow to a tank fight? Almond goes stone cold. Watch this, he whispers to his viewers, eyes glowing with insane focus. Before a shot hammers into the Lord's chest like a sledgehammer, the boss just shrugs it off, stepping forward with murderous intent. Almond holds his ground and lets another one fly, hitting the exact same microscopic scratch. It's not just a shot, it's a full-on machine gun barrage, landing 40 consecutive shots on a single point until the metal starts to glow white-hot, throwing sparks like a grinder. The sheer kinetic force actually drives the massive Lord backward, under the relentless pressure. He roars in rage, realizing Almond is literally drilling through his heart. The armor finally cracks. Almond knocks his last arrow. Game over, he tells the chat, as he releases a green comet of pure destruction that punches right through the boss's chest, painting the carpet in obsidian blood. As Talon collapses, the chat explodes into a frenzy of hype, losing their minds over this insane W. Bro literally died of a heart attack, they joke. Just as a massive 300,001 donation from Seogia lights up the screen, Almond is stunned into silence. This legendary whale just dropped a literal fortune on him. But who is the girl behind the gold? We flash back to Seogia's real life. Trapped in the soul-crushing chaos of a morning commute, the city's noise is a deafening weight, making her dream of disappearing into a silent ocean. She drags herself home through the shadows, finding her only escape in Almond's stream. She originally clicked for the name, but stayed for the legend. Hunched over her desk, Gia's eyes sparkle as she tracks the intense boss raid. The moment Almond shatters the impossible quest, she erupts in cheers, her fingers flying across the keys. She drops a massive 300,001 donation, determined to outshine every other fan for the sake of her own bliss. When Almond's voice echoes his gratitude, noting how her name rings a bell, she beams with pure hype, already craving his next legendary reaction. Back in reality, Sang-hyun exits his gaming pod, drained yet triumphant. He mulls over how the new optimization flipped the script on his finale, though Gia's mystery identity haunts him. Is a kid really blowing that much cash on a random streamer? The guilt of her generosity weighs heavy. Little does he know, Gia's already grinding at her PC. She's cooking up elite-tier montages using her high-end office tools to showcase his insane mechanics. Manipulating the timeline, she knows that as Almond's legend grows, her cinematic masterpieces will become total viral fuel. Sunrise hits and a buzzing phone violently yanks Sang-hyun from his slumber. It's his manager, Ju-hyuk. Following some snarky morning roasts and a troll offer of a lasagna lunch, the mood shifts to serious business. Their mission: hunt down Seo Gia, the genius editor who made that viral archery masterpiece. But Ju-hyuk hits a wall. Her profile's a fortress, and she's ghosting all public DMs. With the trail gone cold, Ju-hyuk wants to ambush her during the next live donation, but our hero isn't vibing with that clout-chasing move. He wants to keep it professional, opting to play the long game even if it stalls their recruitment plans. Needing a mental reset, Sang-hyun dives into some hardcore spring cleaning. He drags a massive, bursting garbage bag outside, tackling the treacherous stone staircase that snakes through his steep hillside hood. He reframes the grueling daily trek as a free gym session, telling himself that the grind eventually feels like second nature. Suddenly, his flow is wrecked as a heavy door flies open, with a violent thud catching him right in the face. A girl in a black cap and flowing dark hair, the real Seo. Gia panics and rushes to his side. As Sang-hyun collapses, nursing a fresh knot on his skull, Gia's jaw hits the floor in total wide-eyed disbelief. Our dazed hero shakes off the stars, insisting he's totally okay, before dragging his trash back into the fray. While sorting recyclables, his phone explodes with a hyped-up call from Ju-hyuk. Gia just dropped a new heat titled "The Archer Who Sieged the Castle Alone." The clip is going nuclear, pulling thousands of live eyes and dominating the gaming charts. Ju-hyuk shot his shot in the comments, but there's zero guarantee she'll even notice. The second the call cuts, the mystery girl from the stairs sprints back toward our protagonist, gasping for air from the chase. Sang-hyun thinks he's lost his wallet, but Gia thrusts a notepad and pen forward, her face turning beet red as she begs for an autograph. This completely blindsides him, proving that even in his low-key hood, a hardcore fan was lurking nearby. When he asks for her name to sign it, she drops the bombshell: she's Seo Gia. This crazy stroke of luck obliterates their ghosting problem, so the trio hits up a cafe to talk business. Mid-meeting, Ju-hyuk discovers Gia's a pro. She studied film and edits for fun, which explains why her videos look like Hollywood blockbusters. He doesn't hesitate, sliding a thick contract across the table to recruit her into their inner circle. Sensing her doubt, Ju-hyuk drops a tactical truth bomb about the legal mess of fan-made content. He breaks it down. Fan channels are basically non-profit due to copyright strikes, leaving Gia stunned, though she never cared about the bag anyway. Actually, that massive 1,000,001 donation is living proof that she's fueled by pure passion, not greed. Realizing money won't sway her, Ju-hyuk pivots to the feels. He stresses that the Almond channel is incomplete without her unique touch, and that her vision is one of a kind. Our boy jumps in, confessing he's been hunting for her for ages, and genuinely craves her creative genius. Being needed like this hits Gia right in the feels, filling a void she never knew she had. She glows, clutching her drink with a flustered blush, visibly shaken by their raw honesty. She promises to consider it, but there's still one massive hurdle blocking their path. Since her current gig bans double-dipping on contracts, she'd have to go all in and quit her job to lead Team Almond. She's torn, needing a stable paycheck to survive. Is gambling her entire future on YouTube revenue too much of a risk compared to a steady salary? Bottom line, she needs a guaranteed bag before making the jump. This raw honesty sends Sang-yoon's anxiety into overdrive. The guy hasn't even been streaming for a full week. He can't afford a drink, let alone a professional salary. Just as our hero tries to stall for time, Joo-hyuk smirks and reveals a digital proposal from his laptop. It's an official offer from the gaming titan Punk. They want to sign him as a partner streamer immediately. Because the deal includes a specific budget for editor costs, their biggest financial hurdle vanishes in an instant. Jia is speechless, while Sang-yoon is absolutely floored that a massive corporation actually wants to sponsor his channel. Witnessing the sheer determination in Jia's eyes, she doesn't hesitate. She's ready to sign that contract right now. Sang-yoon realizes that while this is a huge leap, she was clearly desperate to escape her corporate prison. Joo-hyuk lays out the numbers: a 25 million won base salary, plus 40% of the YouTube revenue. Or she can gamble on herself with a 50-50 split if she chooses to forego the guaranteed. Jia locks in that steady paycheck, signing the official contract the second they exit the coffee shop. Joo-hyuk vows to reach out once the Punk deal is finalized. Jia checks on her previous content, prompting Joo-hyuk to clarify that migrating everything to the main channel is vital for growth. As she vanishes from sight, Sang-hoon grips his manager's arm, terrified this Punk deal is just a clever bait. Joo-hyuk snaps back, citing that morning's email and arguing the terms are simply too legendary to pass up. Strolling through the neon streets, Joo-hyuk notes Jia's icy vibe since she didn't crack a single smile. Sang-yoon counters that being a hardcore fan is totally different from signing a professional blood oath. Still, Joo-hyuk is baffled by her poker face after those huge donations. But Jia's true colors finally show, the moment she slams her apartment door shut. Dropping the act, she launches herself onto the mattress and flails her legs in a chaotic victory dance, muffling her screams into a pillow. She is absolutely peaking, because working for her ultimate idol feels like a literal fever dream. Clutching that folded paper, she feels the weight of her toxic past finally lifting. She remembers those soul-crushing bosses and co-workers who mocked her degree, claiming she was lucky to even have a desk in their office. But seeing the hype in the almond comments makes her feel seen, and she drifts off with a pure, cozy glow. Meanwhile, our legendary gamer decides to fire up the stream way ahead of schedule. Just as he goes live, Jia pings him with a file labeled intro video. Sang-yoon is absolutely floored that she whipped up a high-tier cinematic masterpiece in the tiny window since they said goodbye. She reveals it wasn't a rush job, but a passion project she had been polishing for ages. Witnessing that professional glow, our hero is stunned by the sheer talent she unleashes when she goes all out. He drops a quick thanks and officially kicks off the broadcast. Phones buzz across the globe as notifications hit the fanbase, and the chat explodes with over 200 viewers instantly. When that epic intro drops, the count skyrockets past 1,200. As the community clocks Jia's signature style and realizes a legend has been recruited, Sang-yoon flips his camera on, shouting out donors like Ruby Sword and Eggplant, before diving back into the digital abyss. He awakens in the fortress, where the bodies of the fallen guards still litter the cold stone floor. He casually informs the chat that, since he wiped the place solo, the loot is his for the taking. Cracking a chest, he finds 3 shimmering, high-tier bows, finally equipping the one that looks the most menacing. He swaps his gear for fresh armor and a green cloak, grumbling that his inventory weight is the only thing keeping him from stripping the place bare. Now built like a tank and ready for war, he leaps onto his horse to finish the mission. Since the game skips the boring travel bits, night bleeds into day as he reaches Amelia's carriage. He lurks in the brush until she spots him, leaving the noblewoman visibly shaken by his impossible return speed. She pulls him aside for a quiet word, convinced he either chickened out or lost his mind. When Almond coolly reveals the job is done, after just 2 days, Amelia is utterly paralyzed by his efficiency. He explains his journey while the chat roasts him because, in the real world, it has only been a single day. The confusion hits a peak when Amelia reminds him she specifically requested a stealthy assassination. Our boy just grins and explains that since security was tight, he decided the simplest path was to delete every single living soul in the fortress. This leaves Amelia in a state of absolute, petrified silence at his terrifyingly literal interpretation of the contract. It takes her a long beat to hide her shock, while the stream chat goes nuclear with laughter at her broken expression. Finally gathering her wits, she asks for confirmation that the castle is completely empty. Almond stoically confirms there isn't a soul left, making Amelia realize they can't waste another second. She declares they must strike immediately to shield the innocent and claim the land for the January family before rival snakes can make their move. This tactical shift forces her to order the guards to prep the carriage at once. As the horses are brought forward, Amelia shocks everyone by inviting Almond to ride inside with her ditching the common soldiers. She catches him dazed and coaxes him in her face, turning a deep crimson as she admits there is so much she wants to know. The chat loses their minds over this development, joking that capturing a whole castle is the ultimate cheat code for maxing out a character's romance stats as the carriage rolls down the dusty trail. We dive into the aftermath of Almond's landslide win. Amelia's jaw drops, unable to wrap her head around his monstrous power. She's seen top-tier knights, but none pull off stunts like this. Our hero, he just plays it cool and shrugs. I'm just decent with a bow, he claims. When he reveals he's a mere mercenary, not a knight, Amelia's curiosity piques. She asks if he's ever considered taking a noble title to run the castle once they annex the land. Sang-hun brushes it off as impossible for a commoner. Amelia's face falls for a sec, but she snaps back fast. Her old man is dying to meet him. When he tries to ask how her father knows, she just gives him a playful hush. How'd the Earl find out so fast? She calls it a lady's secret, no need to sweat the details. Rolling up to Talleyrand's gates, the locals are on edge. They're wondering if these new faces are looking for a fight. Amelia steps out, declaring they're with House January. Suddenly, the whole town starts buzzing like a beehive. Some talk about fighting back, but others face the cold truth. Talleyrand's army was totally annihilated. With no one left to guard them, the old regime's shredded red and black banners finally hit the dirt. In their place, a glorious golden flag featuring a white flower unfurls across the castle walls. Almond suggests a tough guy speech to show who's boss, but Amelia thinks they'll vibe with the change naturally. A week flies by without any drama, and the place looks brand new. Before, everyone was buried in debt. They were basically slaves, but the new management lets them work off their debt with actual fair pay. Now they keep a cut of the cash. The ghost town is suddenly thriving and full of life again. Amelia catches Almond staring out the window. Don't forget, she says, we're seeing my father tomorrow. They hold hands in the glowing hallway, and the chat starts wilding out about this speedrun romance route. But just as things get sweet, the piece is ripped apart by the deafening blast of a silver horn. They rush to the walls and see it, a massive coalition army from Talleyrand's allies swarming the horizon. They're here to reclaim the fort. Amelia's shaking, but Almond, his eyes are locked on the target. I've got this, he promises. Below, Captain Roman steps up, firing up the troops to hold the line. For Lady January, the soldiers roar, and we zoom in on our hero's piercing golden gaze. We've gone from stealthy kills to an all-out war. A massive quest notification pops up. It's official. Mission: lead the army to total victory. The scene shifts back to the immersive game world. Endless rows of armored troops stand ready. The chat is absolutely losing it over this epic-scale war. Fans can't believe he reached the endgame in days. Usually, even the sweatiest streamers never see this content. When people start comparing him to Bubblegum, Almond shuts it down. He doesn't want any streamer drama here. Total respect only. Then he spots a comment about how much his streaming game has leveled up. Our boy flashes a confident thumbs up and drops a bombshell he's signing off for the night. The chat goes into a full-blown meltdown. They were just getting hyped, but he's already checking out. With a quick thanks for watching, the screen flashes and fades to black. Back to the real world. Sang-hun's chilling in his dark room, scrolling through comments. He's grinning at all the "please don't go" tears. He ended at the peak of the hype. He remembers J-Mock's lesson on the art of the cliffhanger. You gotta leave them wanting more. Checking the forums, he finds a thread on how to win Amelia's heart. The secret guide to max affection with Amelia is surprisingly simple. Step 1. Solo, an entire castle. The comments are dying, calling it the most uselessly elite guide ever. Others are refunding because the difficulty is insane. Sang-hun's just confused. Was it really that hard? People are calling his plays world-class and legendary, but to him, it felt like a normal day. He rolls over, wondering if any pro archer could pull those shots off in VR. Is it just a talent for VR? Or is his god-tier focus the secret sauce? Focus isn't just for athletes, right? He shrugs it off and clicks on a deep dive analysis post. The author gets super technical, pointing out his pro-level posture and perfect form. Even his bowstring placement is flawless. Sang-hun freezes as he realizes who's actually writing this. This isn't some random fan. The author is a former pro athlete. Sang-hun grips his phone, totally stunned. He puzzles over the caller's identity. A decade ago, the archery world turned its back on him, and only his coach knew the truth. A tragic accident forced his retirement, not a lack of passion. Suddenly, memories of a crimson sunset 10 years ago flood back. Are you truly walking away? She pleads. He coldly claims the bow no longer brings joy, sparking her desperate cry. Who's going to lead? She begs to know who will guide them if he quits. He remains unshaken, turning his back and leaving her shattered in the twilight. Fast forward to today, the forums are on fire. Everyone's doubting if Almond can survive a full-scale siege against an army of elite knights. Sang-yun smirks at the online chaos. He actually digs the hype. Strolling down his apartment stairs, he enjoys the growing buzz. He runs into GA right outside her place. He asks her to join him for a walk, and she hints at a surprise. They settle onto a quiet park bench. After he offers her a drink, GA whips out her phone, her eyes gleaming with excitement. She reveals the high-tier edits she crafted for his channel. He's caught off guard when she says these masterpieces are going live tonight. The intro kicks off with his debut stream. It highlights the insane fact that his account was barely 24 hours old when he started. The screen flashes with chat spam warning him against using the bow. He ignores them all, picking the hardest weapon as the montage begins. He starts deleting enemies with headshots, silencing every hater. Taehyung is floored by the slick effects and the professional high-speed transitions. The frantic pacing is addictive, making it impossible to look away. He's especially hyped to see the wildest chat reactions edited into the action. Seeing viewers accuse him of being a Smurf pro cracks him up. Grinning at GA, he declares the video is a straight-up masterpiece. He praises the tight highlights, the crisp visuals, and the savage chat. GA looks completely dazed, overwhelmed by the sudden heavy compliments. Visibly flustered, GA tells him to hold his horses. She argues that dropping a single video isn't enough, they need a tactical upload strategy. Dropping 3 or 4 bangers simultaneously is the only way to break the algorithm. She vows to keep editing, and Sanghyun agrees. That night, GA collapses onto her mattress, drained of energy. Yet a tired smile tugs at her lips, his recognition made it worth it. Just as she's basking in the success of their meeting, her phone buzzes. Thinking it's Almond, she checks the screen and her blood freezes. A notification pops up from a contact saved as Psycho Bastard. Meanwhile, the entire internet is holding its breath for Sanghyun's next play. Hype levels for Kingdom Age have reached a boiling point. From schoolyards to office cubicles, everyone is debating the upcoming siege. The tension is thick. When our main character goes live 4 hours ahead of schedule, the viewer count instantly enters the stratosphere. Numbers skyrocket in seconds. Despite the weird hours, fans are secretly tuning in from their desks and classrooms to witness the chaos. Everyone wants to see if a lone archer can actually conquer a siege. Our hero just smiles at the frantic chat, looking unbothered. He mentions starting early, since today's conquest might turn into a marathon. With that, he dives headfirst back into the digital battlefield. War drums thunder through the air, heavy with the scent of battle. Draped in a striking blue cloak, our protagonist leads the charge. Beside him stands Captain Roman, who's acting surprisingly chummy today. The mercenary leader starts teasing him about his special connection with Amelia. As Roman jokes about their romance, Amelia watches intently from the battlements. The viewers are losing it, totally confused by this new dynamic. OG players remember Roman as a total grouch, but this shift proves just how much our main character has rewritten the game's code. He's literally reshaping the social landscape. But the laughter dies instantly when a war horn blares, signaling that the carnage is starting. A massive cavalry charge thunders forward. As steel clashes and the ground trembles, a sudden system alert pings in his vision. The system asks if he wants to delegate troop command to the NPC. He accepts without hesitation, finally free to focus. With a specialized target in mind, our guy looks dead into the camera. He calmly drops a bombshell announcement to his thousands of viewers. I'm taking the head of the leader in golden armor. This insane claim immediately triggers a massive mission donation from a fan. A whale named Shiny Napoleon pledges 10,001 won for every single body our archer drops. The stakes are insane. Smelling a massive payday, our hero accepts the bet. He offers a playful warning, telling the donor to keep their wallet ready. I hope you've got deep pockets, he quips. To keep the content top tier and his efficiency at max, Almond decides to change tactics. He vanishes into the tall grass, moving like a ghost. Peering through the brush, he tracks the enemy's movements with predatory focus. He remembers Acorn Jelly's advice about cashing in on donations. With 80 arrows locked and loaded, he's ready to turn kills into cash. If every arrow finds a heart, he's looking at a 1,000,001 payday. To him, this isn't just a game, it's a high-stakes hunt. This challenge is the perfect way to keep the stream's energy high during the grueling long-form combat ahead. The grind starts now. The slaughter begins silently. From a distance, arrows rain down like divine judgment, dropping soldiers before they even hear a whistle. Total panic grips the enemy ranks. Thanks to his perfect shot mechanic, his arrows are basically invisible, leaving no trail to follow. They can't even tell where death is coming from. When a desperate sergeant tries to regroup his men, Sanghyun decides to intervene. With a cold gaze, he sends a point-blank arrow through the sergeant's skull. But such lethal precision finally gives away his hidden position. A scout catches sight of him lurking in the brush and screams for backup, but our protagonist doesn't even flinch. He coolly plants exactly 20 arrows into the dirt like a graveyard, telling his stunned viewers that since 20 enemies are charging his position, 20 shots are all he needs. Get ready for a masterclass. As the squad closes, Almond ignites his rapid-fire skill. A blurring sequence of neon blue. Bolts tear through the woods, tagging every single forehead with god-tier precision. Within heartbeats, 20 bodies hit the floor, and the system chime signals the streak's end. Sung-hoon stands alone. He casually calculates a 230,001 profit from that massacre. His lethal speed is so cracked that the survivors are panicking for backup. Meanwhile, in the real world, his editor, Seogia, is absolutely fangirling over the screen. She's totally hooked on his insane confidence. and how his god-level talent is backed by pure, undeniable results. It hits her that this is why the fans are obsessed. He's the ultimate pro everyone dreams of becoming. The stream explodes as donations rain down from viewers who are officially sold on the Almond hype. Locking in Almond lets a final bolt fly, sniping a retreating soldier right through the skull. This flawless kill streaks into a golden 40-kill notification, making the chat joke that since no one's left alive to tell the tale, it's technically a stealth mission. He checks his ammo, finding exactly 40 shafts remaining, just as a panicked donation pops up from Shane Napoleon. With the bounty scaling out of control, the donor is literally begging for mercy and a quick end. His payout has rocketed to 400,000 won in record time. The sheer carnage finally alerts the high command, leaving a gold-armored general in utter disbelief. He can't wrap his head around one guy soloing 20 troops, so he sends 40 more units to crush the threat. As the grunts charge, the chat leaks that Shane Napoleon is actually sitting on over 1 million won. His earlier complaining was all cap compared to that bankroll. Over in his gaming den, Yu Sang-yun's eyes widen at the mention of that much cash. That bag awakens his inner beast, as he promises the audience he's coming for that entire 1 million won prize. Chasing the money, our hero activates his rapid-fire skill, raining death upon the enemy ranks. Even as officers scream for order, Almond's bolts pierce through their shields with frightening precision. The battle gets so wild that the chat starts sweating, spamming him to find some cover, since movement usually tanks your aim with this skill. But Almond doesn't play by the rules, pulling a high-speed flicker just as an enemy bolt slams into the spot he just left. He glides through the chaos, sniping an incoming arrow right out of the sky with a mid-air counter, before deleting the enemy sniper. When the dust finally settles, the forest is a graveyard. Standing over the carnage, our boy flexes his 710,000 won earnings to the viewers. The last few mercs are frozen in terror, realizing this guy's fire rate is straight up demonic. A lone survivor tries to bolt, but Almond's already got him in his sights. But as he aims, he realizes he's bone dry after firing 80 high-speed rounds. The donor cheers for the lucky escape. But Almond isn't about that cliffhanger life. He chases the runner down with savage intent. He rips a shaft out of a corpse's skull and lets it rip, securing his 60th kill. The victory screen flashes, and Shane Napoleon actually drops the full 1 million won donation. The donor's wallet is hurting, but Almond sends his thanks. Yet inside the game, things feel off. At the castle, the royal troops start chanting for a fancy knight named Sir Robert instead. The viewers are fuming at the disrespect, since Almond carried the whole squad while the knights just watched. Even our stoic MC looks salted, realizing a 100-kill streak wasn't enough to get any clout. The mood sours further when Captain Roman walks up looking absolutely fed up with the higher-ups. He says sorry for the knightly arrogance, explaining the nobles only want to pay the base salary, despite their massive carry. When Roman tries to speak up, Sir Robert shoots back a look of icy disdain. With an elitist sneer, the knight trashes the mercenary way of life, barking that while real knights bleed for glory, mercenaries only fight to save their own hides. This savage disrespect makes Roman's knuckles turn white with suppressed fury. While Almond stays low-key in the back, soaking in the commander's toxic vibes, our protagonist internally recognizes this tired old stereotype. He knows it's pure cap because mercenaries rely on their reputation to secure contracts. To survive the business, they have to go hard from the jump. Roman stands paralyzed by the insult at first, but his gaze turns icy as he stares down the knight. He argues that it's 0% honorable to dump their respect the second the war ends, especially since he thought their prowess was finally being validated. To back his squad, Roman points at Almond and drops a bombshell. The kid soloed 100 enemies. He asks if the knight still thinks they're useless. Sir Robin just busts out laughing and his goons follow suit. Treating a centurion-level archer kill count like a total meme, the live chat starts flaming the knights for this L. With fans joking about ending Robin's career right then, Roman's fist shakes from the pressure, yet he bites his tongue. Because the rank gap is just too massive. He shoots Almond a devastated look, but a sudden noise kills the tension. A warrior in high-tier golden plate steps out with pure main character energy. Almond senses a heavy, arrogant, noble aura and realizes this is a big shot because even Robin starts bugging and sweating bullets. The newcomer ignores Robin's stutters and roasts the gentry for occupying the fortress without a shred of modesty. When they spot our duo, they walk straight to our boy. The commander asks if he's a knight, but Roman quickly explains he's just a sellsword. This makes the golden figure lock eyes with our hero, questioning if he's truly the one-man army with 100 kills. Sir Robin tries to play it off as a prank, mocking an archer for supposedly hiding, while racking up such numbers. The armored stranger calls the knights brainless for their narrow minds. They reach up to unseal their helmet, asking Almond why he'd stay with losers who can't even see his god-tier talent. As flowing navy locks spill out, the chat realizes this commander is a gorgeous waifu with piercing blue eyes. It's Rosalita, the game's second main heroine. She scouts him on the spot, causing the comment section to go absolutely nuclear. Since she's showing up in Talon territory, a system prompt pops up before Almond with a crucial choice. He can either act honored by the invite or declare his loyalty to another. Our protagonist looks completely stressed. Noting the high-budget design, the devs gave Rosalita while the viewers are split, spamming him to pick a side. Almond thinks of his history with Amelia. He's low-key attached to her since they've been grinding together from day one. Just as Rosalita demands his answer, our guy hits the logout button, ending the stream on a legendary cliffhanger. While fans are left screaming in the chat, the scene cuts back to the real world, where Joo-hyuk is deep diving into the channel's analytics. He realizes that these hardcore fans, despite their toxic comments, are actually the ones making the channel go viral across the web. The data shows that while guys donate more often, the female audience is bringing in the massive bags. He starts prepping their next move to a game by Funk, but his professional grind is suddenly interrupted when his dad storms in, absolutely livid. His old boss called the family to report his sudden resignation, and the old man is fuming over the hit to his reputation, crushed by his father's terrifying presence. Joo-hyuk is forced to fold and agrees to join the family firm by morning. Left in the dark, Joo-hyuk feels a wave of pure heartbreak, wondering if his week of freedom was just a beautiful, temporary delusion. He sits at his rig one last time, with tears falling, feeling the dream was too vivid to just abandon. The next morning, Sung-hun is startled awake by his doorbell, ringing at a crazy hour. He stumbles through his apartment wondering who's visiting this early. He opens up to find a drenched Joo-hyuk, standing there clutching a suitcase. Before our hero can even speak, Joo-hyuk lets out a shaky laugh, announcing he's officially ditched his house to chase their dream for real. Cut to later. The duo celebrates with a feast of crispy fried chicken, while Joo-hyuk goes ham on a beer. Our hero stays locked in and skips the alcohol, since he's got a stream later. This discipline stuns his friend, though it doesn't stop the manager from crushing both cans himself while they dig in. Sang-hun finally asks why his bro chose this specific moment to go rogue. The vibe gets heavy. Joo-hyuk shifts his gaze away, promising to spill the messy family tea another time. Fortunately, our hero plays it cool and gives his bro some much-needed breathing room. It is official, the apartment is big enough, so he invites the guy to move in permanently. Soon they are back on the grind, obsessing over that insane cliffhanger ending in Kingdom Age. Joo-hyuk warns that he is walking a tightrope between two fire waifus, Amelia and Rosarita. Sung-hyun acts totally unbothered, questioning if it even matters, leaving Joo-hyuk absolutely shook by the disrespect. He shoves his phone forward, revealing toxic forums where fans are literally demanding blood and execution. One psycho even threatens to dox Almond's IP address if he picks the wrong girl. Our main character just smirks at the madness, while Joo-hyuk's brain glitches trying to understand this calmness. He wonders if this is that pro-athlete grind set as he sips his blue can. With Kingdom Age ending, they desperately need a new hit to keep this hype train moving. They need a game that hooks new fans while keeping the old ones. Joo-hyuk is ready. He whips out a laptop, revealing Battle Rage, a high-stakes, brutal survival player versus player arena. 100 players, 1 survivor, and it requires god-tier aim to win with any weapon. Since it demands split-second reflexes, Joo-hyuk knows it is the perfect fit for our hero's vibe. Sung-hyun suggests some practice rounds, but Joo-hyuk suddenly explodes in a loud burst of disagreement. He argues that fans do not want good, they want a cracked genius dominating from day one. Remembering the archery stream, Joo-hyuk demands his training scores to see if he is actually built different. Our boy casually mentions he has been speedrunning the hardest agility simulations every single day. Joo-hyuk pulls up the global leaderboard for the code and instantly freezes in pure shock. Our hero is sitting at rank number 1 worldwide with 12,000 points. This proves he is not just an archer, he is a natural-born gaming prodigy across the board. Hyped up, Joo-hyuk punches the air and demands they register for Battle Rage this second. Back in the capsule, Sung-hyun goes live early to test which time slots pull more viewers. Joo-hyuk wishes him luck, they exchange a few roasts, and the capsule lid finally seals shut. Blue digital light flickers as he dives back to the field, where Commander Rosarita still waits. Almond knows this choice changes everything, but he stays true to his own path. He calmly tells Rosarita he is flattered, but his heart is already claimed by another. The Amelia stands in the chat go wild, while the Rosarita fans start a literal funeral. Even after the rejection, Rosarita smiles, admitting he has more honor than most actual knights. As she is led away, Almond realizes choosing her would have extended the story, but it is whatever. It is time for a new game anyway. Suddenly, Lady Amelia's voice cuts through his thoughts. He turns to see her standing there, eyes brimming with tears and a joyful smile. Ignoring her guard's warnings about the danger, she sprints forward without a second thought. She pulls our hero into a crushing hug. Victory secured, he suggests it is time to head home. The chat instantly nukes itself with a mix of shipping fan wars and pure, unadulterated shock. The romantic tension is so heavy that even the trolls think this is more than a game. Their faces are inches apart, they lean in close, and then the screen cuts to black. This evil cliffhanger sends the chat into a meltdown with fans screaming at their monitors. The game robs us of the best moment, fast-forwarding to the group traveling under a sunset. Almond's legend is growing, and a knight pulls up alongside him to check the rumors. Praised for his 100-kill streak, Almond stays humble and credits the frontline mercenaries. Captain Roman scoffs at the knight, mocking how they are only playing nice now that he is famous. They did not believe in him before, but Roman actually mumbles a rare, soft-spoken thank you. He admits that because Almond carried so hard, the entire squad survived the impossible. Every sellsword walked away with a 4-month vacation in their pockets. This wholesome bromance left veteran fans absolutely baffled. The chat is trolling, claiming a demon snatched Roman's body and is wearing his skin like a mask. Reaching Lord Jennery's massive fortress, the epic war vibes suddenly pivot into an incredibly cringy family reunion. Amelia presents Almond as her VIP guest, escorting him toward the grand hall to face her father. Our hero instantly feels the crushing pressure, knowing this man literally holds his entire destiny in his palms. Plot twist: Lord Jennery isn't some elitist jerk. He greets our legend with a massive grin and a heavy pat. He demands a feast immediately, sending Almond's anxiety levels straight through the roof. While he stresses over high society etiquette, his peace of mind gets absolutely shattered. A system alert pings, forcing him into a high-stakes dinner minigame. Since sellswords lack table manners, Almond must survive a frantic rhythm challenge to avoid ultimate social suicide. He is stuck staring at finger bowls matching hand wash icons as rhythm notes zoom across his vision. This weird rhythm dating sim crossover has the chat dying of laughter, while our boy fights for his life. Nailing a flawless combo, he is solving meat puzzles and matching shapes just to swallow a bite of stew. Kingdom Age proves that even dinner is a literal war zone. Meanwhile, back in reality, Sang-hun is dead in his chair, more mentally fried by this meal than a full-scale castle siege. The vibe shifts when Jennery drops his glass and offers Almond a prestigious seat among his knights. This secret questline shocks everyone, since no streamer has ever unlocked the knight path this fast. 2 glowing blue boxes flicker. It is decision time. Should he take the oath of knighthood, or stay a rogue sellsword? He realizes his bond with Amelia accelerated the plot to insane levels. At the peak of the tension, Almond pulls a classic move, logging off and leaving everyone on a cliffhanger. The fans are absolutely fuming in the comments. Stepping out, Sang-hun marvels at his own progress. During a rare break from battle, his manager Ju-hyuk rolls up with some major flex stats. The stream went nuclear. Every gaming forum is currently trending with father-in-law memes and discussions. Even better, Ju-hyuk drops a bombshell. The massive gaming giant Punk has officially approved the budget for Gia's paycheck. This deal is a massive level up for Almond. Getting a formal contract feels way more legit than just some casual maybe, or perhaps. Headlines are exploding everywhere as the news of this partnership spreads like a digital wildfire. They are calling this rookie archer world-class, though haters and skeptics are questioning the massive deal. Despite his small viewer count, Almond solo carried Kingdom Age back into the spotlight. Now Punk is making aggressive power moves against rivals by locking down exclusive high-tier marketing. With Almond as their star, asset fans are debating if he will ditch his roots for bigger titles. Hype is building. After endless meetings and paperwork, the big moment finally arrives for our boy. Launching his first official stream under the Punk banner, the chat room is absolutely overflowing with fans. Fans have been camping out in the dark. Suddenly, the screen glows blue with a legendary intro. Almond flashes his iconic smile, but his voice now carries the weight of a true professional. Moving from a rookie to a global gaming icon, Sang-hun drops his first official video announcement. Debuting his new all-tube channel, he greets the crowd, pouring out his heart to his loyal supporters. He admits their hype is the only reason this massive deal exists. Meanwhile, office workers everywhere are reeling from the shock of a rookie signing with Punk, but Almond is focused on content. He reveals his editor Gia is already grinding away, remastering his most legendary trick shots. These epic montages promise a wild future, sending the entire gaming community into a total frenzy. Comments are flooding in, everyone's losing it over his meteoric rise. To celebrate the big win, Sang-hun and Ju-hyuk hit a local spot to destroy a mountain of crispy fried chicken. Ju-hyuk hypes up his friend's hustle, though he is bummed that Gia couldn't make the victory dinner. Our hero stays humble, treating it like a normal snack even if he is low-key blown away. Ju-hyuk's jaw drops. Gia crushed 3 top-tier edits in just 48 hours. Sang-yoon reveals she grinded during her off hours, leaving Ju-hyuk absolutely floored. He can't fathom how this dedicated pro acted so cold during the interview. The MC starts asking about Ju-hyuk's family drama when a shadow falls. Ju-hyuk pales, spotting his toxic former co-workers entering the same restaurant. It's the Asung squad led by the legendary nightmare manager Park looking for beef. Ju-hyuk tries a desperate stealth escape, but their luck has officially run out. Park locks eyes and saunters over with a smug, punchable grin. He's itching to trash-talk his failed staff. Tension spikes as Park flexes his authority. He barks at Sang-yoon to bow, while Joo-hyuk breaks into a sweat. While his buddy panics, our hero stays ice-cold, staring the bully down. He bluntly asks why he'd respect a jerk. Park goes into a total meltdown. He bellows about Sang-yoon being a social loser. Despite the public scene, our MC just smirks, calling out the hypocrisy of Park's fake manners, lecturing on politeness while harassing diners. As things reach a boiling point, Sang-yoon stands tall, looming over Park. Suddenly a friendly voice cuts in. Director Oh from Punk arrives hailing Sang-yoon like a global superstar. He gushes over the insane view counts. The Punk board is dying to meet. A VIP dinner invite. This news hits Park like a physical blow. He's shook. The loser he belittled is now a partner for a massive titan. The vibe flips. Diners realize they're sitting with the legendary streamer Almond. Swarmed by fans, Sang-yoon graciously signs autographs, basking in his new prestige. Park seethes in silence, realizing he's lost. He barks at his team to flee. They bolt in total disgrace. Once they're gone, the duo thanks director Oh. He admits he hyped the board members' part just to spook the bullies. But the rest, 100% real. Sang-yoon's debut is officially a monster. He's a viral sensation. His career is outrunning his own arrows. Later, a blunt executive gives Sang-yoon a cold reality check on the industry. Tree V fame doesn't mean Jack on all tube. It's a whole different beast. He's told he needs 20 uploads before even sniffing a real profit. This warning makes Sang-yoon's instant explosion look like a straight-up miracle. At home, Sang-yoon freezes mid-brush, staring at his phone in disbelief. 50,000 views per video in one day. He remembers the legends. Even the goat bubblegum flopped here. His success feels like a glitch. It's surreal. As he brushes, the weight of this win finally sinks in. It's all thanks to Joo-hyuk's sharp instincts and those fire viral montages. Edits Gia made before even being hired. Her sniper video was the game changer. Sipping his coffee, Sang-yoon feels blessed to have her. Meanwhile, Joo-hyuk is howling, imagining manager Park seething after getting owned by Punk. Those office bullies think our boy is guarded by a massive shadow boss. A total heavy hitter. Morning comes and Sang-yoon hits the pavement. Retired or not, he refuses to get soft, especially after a night of beer. A frantic call from Joo-hyuk shatters his rhythm. His manager is losing it. The views are so astronomical, Punk wants that dinner. Joo-hyuk has an idea. They need a killer gift for Gia. She's the real MVP of this empire. Later, Sang-hyun catches Gia mid-jog at the park, and they head to a fresh burger joint. Our hero low-key stresses that a simple burger is way too cheap for someone who grinds this hard. Gia shrugs it off, but things get hilariously cursed when she absolutely demolishes a massive bite. Sang-hyun just sits there, shook, watching her silent and intense focus as they eat in total silence. While a crow caws nearby, Gia finally admits that eating is going to be a struggle. If he keeps staring like that, forcing an embarrassed Sang-hyun to awkwardly kill the dead air. He tries some small talk, but Gia's blunt, one-word energy sends the conversation straight into a brick wall. She confesses she's socially awkward, only talking well when it's about the grind or after a few drinks. Sang-hyun gets deep, telling her he totally understands what it's like to bottle up your feelings. Drawing from his own toxic office trauma, he tells her to share her story whenever she's finally ready. This maturity leaves Gia genuinely moved as the scene shifts back to his latest virtual world stream. The chat is spamming Alha greetings while hype men congratulate him on becoming an official partner with Punk. Sang-hyun addresses the fans with 2 massive updates. He is officially signed as a partner now. And today, he'll finally decide his Kingdom Age legacy, even though fans are begging for new games. Choosing the night route, our hero triggers a cinematic ceremony amidst a heavy mystical snowfall. In the castle courtyard, Lady Amelia officially dubs him her knight, creating a moment of pure peak fiction. She rests the blade on his shoulder with a radiant smile, while the chat loses it over the ending. A sudden time skip hits, and Sang-hyun finds himself standing in a majestic high-tier library. Dressed in elite green and gold knight armor, the piece shatters as the screen erupts in orange flames. The final quest scroll ignites into fire, surging a wave of raw energy through our protagonist's body. Since he claimed the title, he must now survive one final trial to prove his worth. This marks the true beginning of the end for his legendary journey in this virtual world. Our boy is low-key confused because he thought the title was already secured and in the bag. Before he can even process the alert, a servant boy bursts in sweating and in a total panic. Since our hero isn't even dressed, the servant starts screaming and gesturing that he's going to be late. It's for a competition, but Almond is clueless, making the servant ask if he's been smoking opium. The stream finds this hilarious, but things get real as the servant starts physically checking our boy's stats to see if his title is even legit. Suddenly they run into Lady Amelia, terrifying the poor servant. He's scared she heard his complaining, but she ignores him and leans in to kiss Almond instead. This sudden reward shocks everyone, though our MC justifies it as their relationship naturally leveling up. Amelia locks eyes with him, warning that failing this competition puts their entire future together at risk. Because she has zero doubts, they head to a massive stone arena where a rowdy crowd is waiting. Unfortunately, a trash-talking noble named Count Alberto is there sneering at the entire Zaneri family. He mocks them for adopting a commoner and questions if a knight without noble blood is even real. Fans instantly recognize this recurring villain and start spamming the chat to see this clown get wrecked. When Alberto calls Almond's feats fake rumors, Amelia tries to clap back by bringing up his Talaran victory. This just triggers the Count, who screams at her for supposedly insulting a high-ranking member of the nobility. Almond steps in to protect Amelia, telling her to relax while he stands tall and reveals the truth. He was actually the one who requested this trial. As he enters the pit, the crowd goes wild. They chant his name while Count Alberto mocks him one last time before revealing the actual challenge. He claims a true knight, fights trolls solo, then unleashes a literal mountain of muscle from the gates. The audience is terrified because trolls are famous for their insane, god-tier regeneration abilities, meaning a bow is useless. The chat screams that he needs a heavy mace to deal any real damage. While the nobles ditch their seats for safety, Almond stands his ground alone against the massive beast. Noting the troll isn't rushing, he calmly draws an arrow despite the chat's total skepticism. A single projectile erupts from his barrel, tearing through the beast's vitals. A crimson fountain explodes, drowning the arena in absolute silence. With clinical precision, the bullet negates the troll's healing factor, snuffing out its life force instantly. Count Alberto stands frozen, jaw-dropping in disbelief as the chat roasts him, calling our hero's casual flick an overpowered ultimate. Redemption achieved. The scene fades into a lavish royal wedding radiating pure glory. A radiant Amelia glows in her white gown, sealing their fate. As the finale rolls, Sang-hun contemplates the whirlwind week that flipped his world upside down. Retreating to his dim gaming pod, he bids farewell to the world of Kingdom Age. His community is already hyped, spamming suggestions for his next grind. They crave player versus player blood, where real humans replace predictable scripts. Our main character feels the heavy weight of expectation. Sweat drips as he realizes veterans won't show mercy to a rookie risking his genius status. One slip-up could destroy his legacy. But backing down, that's not in his DNA. Locking eyes with the lens, he smirks and drops the bomb he's diving into, battle large. Before the new era begins, Yoo Sung-hyun grabs a bite with his manager Joo-hyuk in a messy kitchen. Amidst hologram screens and greasy chicken, Joo-hyuk's face is etched with genuine worry. He fears the fans will ditch the stream, but Sang-hun just casually sips his soda unbothered. Our boy knows the game. Losing half your viewers is just part of the variety streamer hustle. Stagnation is death. He has to evolve or be forgotten by the fickle masses. Reality bites hard. Back live, Sang-hun keeps a poker face while his soul stings. His metrics plummet from 2,000 to a measly 11. He forces a grin, coping with the disaster. This was the plan, yet the agonizing download wait for Battle Large makes the chat erupt in chaos. They're losing it. The God Gamer didn't even pre-install. The comment section is a dumpster fire of disbelief. Everyone is baffled to see a total newbie entering such a hardcore sim. A donor named Affogato chimes in, warning Battle Large is a hyper-realistic war zone, nothing like the fantasy tropes of Kingdom Age. Sang-hun's mind flashes back to his intense Olympic training days, sparking a fire within. Nerves turn into pure adrenaline. The system pings download complete. Our hero dives into the fray. He's instantly thrust into a metal bird soaring through a blood-orange sunset. The thunderous roar of rotors fills his ears as a gritty commander screams for the jump. Staring at his tactical boots, Sang-hun's knees buckle under the sheer terror of the altitude. The view is breathtaking, but the void below is a nightmare. The soldier's command echoes time to leap. He freezes, giving the chat enough fuel to roast his cowardice before he's shoved into the abyss. While veterans cheer, his tutorial-only knowledge didn't prepare his body for this stomach-churning freefall. Sung-hyun fumbles with the toggles plummeting like a stone until the auto-shoot jerks him upward. Gasping for air, he realizes he's still coming in way too hot. The earth rushes up to meet him. He eats dirt in a massive cloud of dust, groaning as the viewers spam L in the chat. The piece is shattered as the camera pans to a desolate wasteland, where blood is already spilling. Two scavengers spot the crash landing and charge smelling fresh meat. Free kill, they holler. Sang-hun crawls away panicking that his level 1 status is glowing like a neon sign. He kicks in a door, desperate for hardware. In the dust, he spots a sleek compound bow. Memories of his pro-athlete days flood back. This isn't just a toy, it's an extension of his soul. Confidence surges as his fingers lock onto the grip. Then heavy boots thunder on the stairs outside. His hunters are closing in. A trio of predators stalks the upper floor looking for their prey. They assume he's a defenseless rat trapped in a corner. As they sweep the hall, a whistle cuts the air. Thwack! An arrow buries itself in the leader's chest, sending his avatar to the Shadow Realm instantly. Panic sets in. They try to draw, but Sang-hun is a blur of motion knocking another shaft. The second arrow finds its mark straight through the eye. Double kill. The survivor turns tail in terror. The sniper stands tall, while the chat goes wild, debating whether he should finish the hunt. Outraged by these solo match cheaters, Songyun flips the switch to predator mode. Suddenly, a shadow creeps up behind him. The coward frantically draws a scavenged bow for defense. Too late, Almond delivers a point-blank execution, completing the triple kill. Seeing the enemy fail at a cheap imitation of his weapon, the chat erupts with savage laughter. They hype up his surgical precision. Some veterans argue these guys were just low-level scrubs from his fresh rank. Grinning at the UI, Songyun preps for a serious farm session. Confidence surging, he readies his next move. A harsh, jarring vibration kills the vibe. A golden alert streaks across the sky. The blue zone is closing. With 30 seconds before the safe zone shifts, the pressure mounts. In battle, large camping is a death sentence. Many rookies think hiding is big brain, but the blue zone shuts that down. A massive energy dome begins shrinking. Straying outside means constant damage and a guaranteed game over. The digital boundary is a ruthless executioner. The system warning flashes 30 seconds. Songyun realizes he is dead center in the danger zone. Spotting other players scrambling through a window, he realizes it is time to bolt into the crumbling ruins. The landscape is a graveyard of jagged stones with zero cover. Our boy moves with ghost-like stealth. Suddenly, the roar of an engine shatters the silence. He hits the dirt behind a crumbling wall, praying. He hopes the driver keeps cruising. Instead, a bullet whizzes past, smashing the stone inches from his skull. A rain of lead follows, kicking up sparks and debris. This sudden ambush leaves our hero gasping for air. The chat loses it, mocking his startled face. Feeling the burn, he reminds them he is still a total newbie. The viewers do not care. They are loving the chaos. The car screams toward him like a heat-seeking missile. He abandons the wall just as the enemy uses the vehicle to close the gap for the kill. Shock hits him as high-caliber rounds literally disintegrate his cover. The wall is being shredded like paper. He slides behind a thick pillar, just as another volley arrives. Peeking out, he spots a sniper in ghillie gear. The camper is fuming because his rifle is missing everything. He barks at Almond to quit hiding and die. Our protagonist stays frosty, waiting for his moment. Then he spots a trio loitering near a jeep. The chat instantly calls foul, another pack of teamers in a solo lobby. The injustice is blatant. Ignoring the salt, Songyun notches a heavy arrow. He releases a shot that hits with a sickening thud. One attacker is deleted instantly. Without helmets, these guys are basically walking target practice for his bow. The survivors freeze in terror at the one tap. Before they realize the bow's insane base damage, Almond reloads. A second arrow finds its mark, another kill. The last teammate flees behind a rock, screaming that Almond is a smurf. He ignores the trash talk. Instead, he tracks the panicked voice to triangulate the coward's exact coordinates. Aiming toward the heavens, he launches a high arc shot. The arrow pierces the clouds before gravity takes over. It drops perfectly behind the cover. A scream echoes as the arrow connects, leaving the chat absolutely stunned. Thanks for the shout-out, Almond smirks. Sound is his ultimate weapon, and his enemy just gave it away. He fires again but gets a knocked-out alert instead. Songyun freezes that shouldn't happen in solos. He realizes he accidentally queued into a squad match. Revives are on the table. He feels like a total clown. The vibe shifts when Solo Alliance drops a massive 10,001 donation, promising more for the win. Challenge accepted. But confusion lingers. Why was that guy only knocked out if his team was supposedly wiped? Suddenly, a suppressed crack echoes. A bullet tears into Songyun's shoulder before he can react. The hyper-realistic impact sends him reeling, blood spraying. He desperately rolls across the blistering sand. Scrambling through a hole in a wooden fence, he hides. His pulse monitor is screaming red, dangerously high. If his vitals peak, the game will force log him. It is a safety measure against extreme stress. Is the game always this intense? Footsteps approach, ghostly quiet. The chat swears they hear nothing. Focusing his senses, he tracks the subtle crunch of sand. The enemy is creeping toward the fallen teammates. They are going for the revive, not the fight. Songyun holds his breath, waiting for the golden opening. He lets fly. The arrow finds the medic's skull, securing the double kill and ending the squad. Exhaling, he watches the donations flood in. Fans are already comparing his raw talent to the legendary John Jappa. While the chat erupts in debate, Songyun feels the rush. The climb to the top has officially begun. Our rising star streamer stalks toward the corpses, eyes peeling for any high-tier loot they dropped. He spots a suppressed black assault rifle with a clean optic. The cold steel reflects in his wide eyes. He weighs the choice ditch, the primitive bow for modern firepower. Meanwhile, his live chat is absolutely losing it. Half the fans crave a gun-toting arc, while purists claim the bow is his soul. Trolls spam that meta weapons actually work. Toxic viewers threaten to unsub if he ignores the rifle. Yet he knows sticking to the bow is his real gambit. A victory here cements his legacy as a legendary bow specialist. This is the elite reputation he is chasing. He wants to port his pro-gamer status forward, but fears the backlash. if this inferior weapon leads to a loss. Just as the meta pressure peaks, a massive donation banner from Jia explodes across the entire screen. She drops a massive 100,001-point mission win with the bow. It is literally perfect timing. He is hyped but worried. Jia is a local neighbor, and he suspects she is actually struggling for cash. He feels guilty taking that much, but this high-stakes mission is exactly what his channel needs to blow up. He taps the holographic accept button, locking into the challenge. Almond quickly loots supplies to prep for the long trek. He grabs meds and rations while the chat spams advice to find a helmet at the nearby farm. The farm is miles away, so he hijacks a dusty green SUV. He slams the gas, tearing across the wasteland. Viewers' spam warnings driving a noisy engine straight into a hot zone is a total rookie mistake. Chat was right. A grenade bounces under the chassis, flipping the car in a thunderous, fire-filled explosion. Trapped upside down, he jokes about his insurance premium right before a second grenade turns the screen into a fireball. Everyone thinks he is toast, but Almond bursts through the smoke, diving into cover. He is gasping, but still alive. Blinded by the haze, he sprints and vaults onto a rooftop, but as he hits the ledge, the air cracks. Bullets shred the brick inches from his skull. A helmeted sniper on a distant hill is already calling for backup. Two goons rush the building while the sniper pins him down. Almond crouches low, trapped on the burning roof. He grips his bow, while lead rain shatters the concrete. He knows a full-on squad wipe is coming for him. He forces his heart rate down, tuning into every footstep. There are 4 hostiles, and they are closing in fast. 2 are already inside. The sniper thinks it is checkmate. Any move now means an instant bullet to the brain. But our hero recalls the insane trick shots from his youth. He tilts his bow at a completely nonsensical angle. He looses an arrow that screams, ricocheting off the metal pipes. The shaft finally finds its mark. It pierces an enemy's shoulder, securing an instant kill. The chat is absolutely stunned. No one saw that coming. Fans scream aimbot while Almond smiles, realizing those childhood archery games were actually legendary, training for this moment. Footsteps thud nearby. He knows a head-to-head duel against an assault rifle is a suicide mission for an archer. Missing one shot means certain death. There is 0 time to reload, but he refuses to leave his survival to luck. Before the door even swings open, Almond lunges through the air, sniping an arrow straight down into the gap. The projectile threads a needle-thin crack, gut-shotting the enemy. The attacker is left paralyzed in sheer disbelief. Stunned that a shot could pass through such a sliver, the enemy watches a golden elimination banner flood the screen. As SpongeBob collapses, the chat erupts into a feral roar. He timed the opening of the door perfectly. He fired through a pixel-perfect gap. Now the viewers are convinced this isn't some newbie. It is a god-tier player. He is a literal god. Almond tries to play it cool as lucky timing, but the fans aren't buying it. Trolls compare his luck to a stock market crash. Our hero just sits on the roof wearing a bashful grin. Meanwhile, on a jagged cliff, snipers Patrick Star and Calamari watch the building in a heavy, terrified silence. A frantic transmission pings from their dead teammate SpongeBob. He warns them Almond is an absolute monster. This guy's skill level is way beyond their rank. He was erased the second his hand touched the door. The team is in shock. Calamari can't fathom a lone archer dismantling a coordinated squad with such terrifying ease. He assumes SpongeBob just got sloppy. But this isn't some random pub squad, they are the infamous Love Mondays clan. Repping the yellow sponge emblem, they are elite players, including Calamari, a diamond-ranked sniper with a lethal reputation. They have even tasted amateur pro play. But life was brutal. One is a struggling law student barely getting by. Others faced crushing hardships, forcing them into a year-long hiatus. Now they have returned to reclaim their glory. Now demoted to bottom-tier bronze, these former pros find their path fatefully colliding with our hero at the cliffside. SpongeBob desperately begs for a revive, crawling for his life, while Calamari senses a lethal trap being set. He fears the archer is using their friend as bait, prompting Patrick Star to suggest they cold-bloodedly abandon their teammate. But Calamari's elite ego refuses to flee, snapping back at his cowardly companion with sheer disdain. Fleeing a bronze lobby would murder his reputation, so they lock and load, choosing a final desperate stand. They charge the building through a dusty trench, stepping over the cold corpse of their fallen comrade. Poor Mr. Krabs. Calamari orders Patrick to keep his crosshairs glued to the rooftop. The goal, suppress Almond at all costs. Reaching the building's blind spot, they finally breathe a sigh of relief. That piece shatters instantly. A warning blares as Almond looses a lethal projectile from the heights above. Calamari thinks he's safe, but a golden kill banner tells a darker story. An arrow just deleted Patrick via his eyeball. Instant elimination. Calamari reels, paralyzed by the impossible physics of that god-tier shot. He glances up only to see our hero diving off the ledge like an absolute madman. Mid-air, Almond fires one last shot, securing the double kill and completely erasing the squad from existence. Post-carnage, our bandaged streamer slumps down, admitting that gravity-defying stunt actually stung quite a bit. Even on meds, the chat is losing it, labeling him a beast and wondering what he's actually smoking. No sane man takes those risks. Meanwhile, Almond gears up for the final 26 survivors as the circle closes. While the blue zone suffocates the map, we cut to reality. A defeated calamari rots in his dark room. He nukes his keyboard in pure salt before uploading his humiliating defeat to the Battle Large forums. His post title, the God-tier pro-stomping bronze. Since he's a known diamond player, his word is gospel. Rumors spread like wildfire. The community is convinced this archer is a high-level smurf in disguise. The manhunt begins. Internet sleuths quickly track the suspicious gameplay back to Almond's livestream link. Inside the zone, our boy loots a dresser, totally oblivious to the storm brewing online. He's the target of a massive manhunt. Suddenly, his viewer count explodes to over 1,900 people. He tries to play it cool, but the chat vibe shifts from hype to pure toxicity in seconds. Angry mobs are spamming reports and threatening his career. Our hero just stares at the screen, completely lost. The atmosphere turns pitch black. Almond hopes it's just fame, but the reality is much more sinister. He sees the hate. Accusations of smurfing pros bullying low-level newbies begin flooding his feed. The viral post claims he's a secret pro hiding behind a burner account to boost his ego. They're mistaking raw talent for cheating. The backlash hits like a freight train, ruthless and immediate. Trolls mock his smurf status as report counts skyrocket. Our protagonist can only watch. He stares at his interface, sweating bullets. Did a single forum post really trigger this massive invasion? Even with the toxic explanations of smurfing, he chooses to keep his head up. He believes his skills will eventually silence the doubters, trusting Ju Hyuk to manage the chaotic PR nightmare. Reality snaps back. A system alert warns that the lethal blue zone is once again closing in. Gunfire rings through the ruins. The map is shrinking, forcing survivors into a bloody high-stakes funnel. He stays ahead of the burn, sprinting across the dunes. Fans and haters beg him to stick with the bow. Suddenly, 5 players are deleted from the server. Only 10 remain. Even our hero is stunned by the pace. Crouching low, he stalks through a derelict building, hunting for vulnerable solo players left in the dust. He rounds a corner and bam, he slams directly into another player in a violent, unexpected collision. Dazed, his heart stops. Right in front of him, a shotgun muzzle gleams with a deadly lens flare. The enemy fires. 3 rounds tear through the air as our hero dives for his life, grunting in pain. He hits a low crouch, pulling back his bowstring with surgical precision. Footsteps are closing in. Fast. He baits their overconfidence. The second a head appears, the bowstring creaks, and the arrow takes flight. Bullseye. A red flash signals a brutal headshot. The victim's teammate freezes in absolute horror at the sudden execution. Sniper, he screams. From the shadows, Almond watches his next prey through a jagged broken doorway. Trapped. With the bait taken, our protagonist realizes the true power of a lone wolf. His shot screams through the air, shattering armor. A system alert shrieks critical equipment damage. The enemy howls as his helmet crumbles. Among the duo, a player named Octopus panics. They dive into a trench, cursing. Who uses a primitive bow now, just as Octopus rants? Thoom, a massive impact echoes as an arrow drops from the heavens. Notification, Octopus is down. His partner Baby Octopus stares up in pure dread. Before he can find the angle, another bolt streaks past. Within heartbeats, 2 elimination banners flash. Almond has wiped them both. Our hero lowers his weapon unfazed. That's it, he wonders. The chat is losing their minds. Fans joke about physics-based PvP godhood. It isn't the bow, it's the absolute monster wielding it. A distant kill, notification flashes. 4 survivors remain. Almond narrows his eyes, calculating everything. If those final 3 are solo players, the crown is practically his. But the blue zone constricts again. He sighs while the chat trolls his terrible luck. With massive bow-only and solo squad rewards on the line, the stakes are skyrocketing. Fans pray to every god to save their 50,000. The circle helps, but snipers are still lurking everywhere. He sprints forward until a voice cuts through the air. He rounds a corner and freezes. 3 players geared to the teeth. The final squad. They laugh, mocking the lone survivor. Almond stays paralyzed, heart hammering against his ribs. This is hell difficulty personified. This is what happens when challenging squads alone. The enemies check their holograms, gritting with confidence. Even the map is favoring them now. Lightning tears across the sky. Almond's hand trembles. This defines a superstar. They're overconfident, lax. He'll strike the exact moment their guard drops. He chugs a potion, bracing himself. Silence falls, as the enemies wait behind a rock. Is he even here? They whisper. Almond is prone, the blue wall licking his heels. Electrical sparks hiss against his skin. His HP bar hemorrhages. He grits his teeth. Just a second more, he whispers. The enemies spin around, but his arrow is already flying. It buries itself in a throat. 1 player drops instantly. The others erupt into screams. Almond blurs through lead. He draws back, releasing another lethal streak of blue light. Ducky Huns is deleted. The blue zone roars, consuming Almond's flesh. He cries in pain. He stumbles out, collapsing into the dirt, panting but alive. With only 10% health left, the chat is paralyzed. Almond remains razor-focused. His gaze burns with intent. One target left. He vanishes into the tall grass. His eyes lock onto the prey. This survivor stayed silent while his team was butchered. This guy is cold, calculated. This is the elite sniper from earlier, the one from the kill logs. Almond is still hidden in his blind spot. As he frantically bandages his wounds, a sharp system chime echoes. The blue zone is closing in again. The final collapse has begun. Suddenly, an enemy crawls through the weeds. Almond wonders if he's reaching teammates. He pauses, rethinking the logic. A revival now. It takes way too long. No pro would take that risk. Not when victory is this close. It's a decoy. A trap to bait him out. Almond stays flat, refusing to move. He scans for a scope's glint or a rustle in the brush. Ping, an instinct fires. Found you, you bastard. The sniper is perched on a ridge, oblivious. This is Almond's only shot. There's a problem. Drawing a heavy compound bow from this position. Face down in a pit of tactical desperation, Almond suddenly snaps onto his back with predatory speed. As the chat descends into absolute chaos, he slams his combat boot down, pinning the bow to the earth. Using his leg as a human pulley, he hauls the string back. This grueling foot archery style is pure insanity. It keeps him invisible beneath the brush while aiming high. With a strained grunt, Almond finally lets it fly. The arrow streaks like a sapphire comet, vaporizing the sniper's helmet in a thunderous explosion of shards. Before the panicked sniper can heal, Almond sits up, firing one last vertical shot that pierces right through his skull. Crimson splatters the screen as a golden banner ignites. The system confirms the impossible has just happened. Almond took first place in a solo squad match with just a bow. Suddenly, a tsunami of donations floods in. By crushing both the solo and bow-only missions, our MC pockets a staggering 460,000 won instantly. During the hype, a 50,000 won gift from a user named Miho sends the chat into a fever pitch. Miho is a top-tier streaming goddess with elite visuals. The entire audience is left jaw-dropped. When she offers him a clan invite, Almond humbly declines, claiming he's still just a newbie who needs practice. His humility earns massive respect, though fans already crown him a future CEO player. He signs off waving goodbye. Sang-hyun logs out to see Joo-hyuk buzzing. His manager is mesmerized by Miho, yet they agree, rejecting her. Was the right play to avoid early pro-level scrutiny. But then, things take a dark turn. The forums are exploding with hate. Almond's god-tier talent is so cracked that average players simply can't believe it. Salty veterans are spamming Smurf reports against him. Suddenly, the situation goes from bad to absolute disaster. Sang-hyun tries logging in but hits a cold black screen. His account is suspended for rank manipulation. Joo-hyuk flies into a blind rage, nearly smashing his laptop before his inner strategist finally kicks in. He realizes this drama is a golden ticket for massive clout. Taking his manager's lead, Sang-hyun drops a formal post exposing the misunderstanding and the deafening silence from the game's admins. The gamble works. His OG fans from Kingdom Age start a massive crusade to spread the word. They frame him as a victim of a broken system, while the internet debates his godlike skills. Right on cue, Gia texts him. She just finished a video titled, "I got banned for being too good." It's set to premiere right as the heat peaks. The title looks like clickbait, but the tea is real. At a local PC cafe, gamers realize the drama is legit after seeing the massive forum firestorm. Even skeptical bystanders are hooked, wondering how anyone could get banned for winning their very first match. The AllTube chat is absolutely feral, as thousands tune in to watch the controversy unfold. Is it a stunt or a scandal? As the countdown hits 0, the hype reaches a breaking point. Everyone's waiting to catch him capping. The footage kicks off with a high-octane shot of a desert chopper. It's the start of a battle-large squad match. Our main man, Almond, looks visibly shaken in his tactical gear, totally normal for a complete beginner, right? As the match starts, the chat is confused. Are these enemies just bots, or is the matchmaking broken? Behind the scenes, Kim Joo-hyuk grins with satisfaction at the explosive reaction of the audience. As the gameplay unfolds, the skepticism turns into absolute jaw-dropping shock. Almond starts pulling off god-tier plays with a bow, showcasing a technique that shouldn't even be possible. He's sniping people while lying down using his feet. This insane skill carry eventually leads to a win. But the hype train crashes. Static fills the screen as a text box explains Almond's fate. He was hit with a Smurf report despite being a total newbie. Then a formal suspension notice appears, banned for a whole year. The viewers are absolutely losing their minds in fury. They're roasting the admins and mocking the devs. Once the premiere ends, 4,000 viewers are left fuming. With nowhere to vent, they storm every gaming community to scream about this massive injustice. The drama spreads fast because players are already fed up with how Battle Large is managed. Soon the scandal hits major news sites. Deep inside the Battle Large offices, the chief admin is livid. He slams his fist onto the desk in a blind rage, screaming at his blonde subordinate. After banning a pro without even glancing at his logs, the staffer stammers out a pathetic excuse. He blames a mountain of reports, but the boss sneers, proposing a lethal popularity contest instead. A vote to decide his immediate termination. Once the rage cools, the chief pivots to the streamer's actual clout. Learning Almond is just a small-time streamer with zero backing, the chief's fury transforms into cold surgical silencing. He demands hush-money dinners with forum mods to bury the scandal deep underground. To him, this is just a fly in the ointment, threatening his high-stakes corporate promotion. At daybreak, Sang-hyun scrubs his teeth while refreshing his phone, waiting for a ghost of a notification. Suddenly, Joo-hyuk storms in, hyperventilating because every single shred of evidence regarding the ban has vanished into thin air. Sang-hyun instantly smells a corporate cover-up in progress. Instead of owning their blunder, they've doubled down, leaving Joo-hyuk spiraling about their next broadcast. Yet our hero is unfazed. He drops a bombshell: he's meeting a power player from a rival firm, a company called Punk. Joo-hyuk is floored by the backup. This ice-cold composure is Sang-hyun's oldest ally. Years ago, on a sun-drenched archery range, a coach marveled at his genius. His mental fortitude was terrifying. Physical strength mattered little when his focus was this razor-sharp. With one fluid motion, he splits the bullseye, leaving his mentor breathless at such raw talent. His coach swore that as long as he never hesitated, his metaphorical arrow would always pierce the heart of any goal. Fast forward to the neon-lit streets of today. Sang-hyun navigates the urban jungle, bitter that his legendary aim is now just a line on a resume. He spots director Oh, whose warm laughter cuts through the sunset as they stroll through the city. Struck by the kid's stoic vibe, the director asks if he ever cracks, since even veterans fold under pressure. Our hero claims he's just naturally thick-skinned, but the director counters that his lethal gameplay says otherwise. It proves he's a predator. Then Sang-hyun realizes the director has been scouting his streams personally. Stunned, he listens as the boss explains he chose him specifically because that latent potential was undeniable. They enter an elite sushi den, a place so opulent it sends a shiver of anxiety through our MC. He questions if his meager stats even justify a seat at such an expensive table. But Oh shuts that down instantly, insisting the kid's value is already worth 10 times the check. As Oh leaves to fetch the big gun, Punk's director Han Tae-ho Sang-hyun sits in silent reflection. Doubting his own worth, he greets the incoming executive with a respectful, disciplined bow. But during the handshake, Tae-ho catches a slight tremor in the boy's hand, a crack in the armor. He wonders if this is just rookie jitters or a ghost from a much darker past. The feast kicks off with delicate appetizers before the master chef begins his rhythmic sushi performance. Tae-ho's in a great mood, joking that corporate-funded meals are always the most delicious. Sang-hyun's sophisticated palate and perfect etiquette catch the high-ranking executive completely off guard. The vibe shifts when Oh reveals Sang-hyun's history at Asung, sparking a flame of genuine interest. He realizes the kid wasn't just staff, he was a parachute hire backed by some serious weight. Sang-hyun flushes with a hint of shame, but the topic pivots to Tae-ho's own elite connections. He's tight with an Asung heavyweight named Lee Chil-sung, yet the laughter soon fades into a serious tone. He probes into the insanity of quitting a titan like Asung for the chaotic life of a streamer. It's a suicide mission in the job market. He demands to know what triggered such a reckless pivot. Sensing a golden opportunity to forge a real bond, our hero prepares to drop his mask. He reveals his secret identity, a former national archery prodigy who once stood at the very top, a champion by 17. The directors are floored, but the mood turns tragic as he mentions the crash. A shattered hand ended his Olympic dreams forever. He confesses the spiral of despair that followed. 3 years of darkness passed before his old coach dragged him into that soul-crushing desk job at Asung. Without an elite degree, he became a punching bag for arrogant bosses who thrived on his misery. Forgotten by the real world, he finally found his true calling within the virtual realm. After a decade of shaking, his right hand stilled, granting him a taste of absolute liberation. Touched by the tale, Han Tae-ho offers a warm truth: life's wild, unpredictable nature is the ultimate thrill. He cheers Sang-hyun on swearing. His unorthodox style is the key. Then director Oh slides over a tablet. Kingdom Age's sales are vertical. Since Sang-hyun went live, the revenue has surged past the atmosphere. Every review screams one name: Almond. The cold hard data confirms it. Our boy is a certified superstar. But as Battle Large enters the conversation, Sang-hyun knows the time for silence has officially ended. Learning Han Tae-ho's son is a fan turns up the heat. He locks eyes with the big boss. It's time to drop the bomb about the ban. The moment to expose this massive glitch is now. Deep within Battle Large headquarters, a panicked admin sprints through the lobby, gasping for every breath. Roused by an early call, he hides his nerves behind a smug grin, dreaming of a fat raise. He struts into the office, fueled by the hope of a promotion. But the vibe, totally off. His dreams shatter at the sight of assistant manager Kim. The boss skips the small talk entirely. Do you know where I spent my morning, he snaps. Mentioning the director's office sends a chill. Cold sweat beads on the admin's forehead. The manager's gaze pierces through him. Ever heard of Almond? Internal sirens blaring, the admin flashes back to the headlines about his own dirty little secrets. His cover-up failed. Before he can stutter a lie, the manager's roar demands the absolute ugly truth. This isn't a slip-up, it's a disaster. The manager sneers. Since you're both packing your bags anyway, I won't mince words. The admin's face drains of color. Wait, is this just a suspension? The manager scoffs at the fool. He taps a profile on his tablet. Our MC Yu Sang-hyun is a top-tier punk partner. After he 5x'd Kingdom Age's revenue, the board took notice. The big bosses are watching. If Punk pulls their support, this company is a sinking ship. It's game over. He slams them for attacking a VIP without proof, calling them absolute amateurs. They couldn't even hide their tracks. He boots them toward the firing line of the disciplinary committee. They exit, but the manager is already dialing, reassigning the almond scandal to the pros in Team 2. Ban lifted. He commands the squad to prep for a massive ad campaign alongside Punk immediately. Time to scrub the record clean. Outside, however, the hallway is about to become a war zone. The admin chokes Kim's collar, screaming, "I asked if this guy was connected, you idiot." Kim fires back through gritted teeth. "You're the one who tried to bury this mess, not me." A savage brawl erupts until security drags them apart. By sunrise, the storm has finally passed. Back at the crib, Sang-hyun munches cereal as a sleep-deprived Joo-hyuk hovers over him. He's desperate for the Punk dinner tea. Sang-hyun just shrugs. Yeah, it was pretty chill. Also, Director Han wants archery lessons. Joo-hyuk's jaw practically hits the floor in disbelief. He's already dreaming of Sang-hyun as the director's right-hand man. The connections are insane. Suddenly, a ping, an official apology from Battle Large arrives. The director's influence is working its magic. The ban is dead, replaced by a formal apology and massive in-game rewards. It's exactly 9 a.m. Sang-hyun finally realizes the sheer power backing him. The boss doesn't play. He must have cleared this before his first coffee. Joo-hyuk vibes toward the stove to celebrate. A feast is mandatory. Recharged and ready, Sang-hyun throws on a tracksuit to crush a workout. During his warm-up, he drops the news. The ban is gone. We are so back. Going live at 7 p.m. The comment section explodes with hype from the Almond Army. Fans are losing it. Across town, his editor Seo Jia scrolls through the chaos with a grin. The media is finally shredding those corrupt admins. But then, a weird notification catches her eye. It's a premiere by Small Long called Battle vs. Large. That bare avatar thumbnail looks sus. The caption ruthlessly mocks the admins. Sang-hyun's ban just triggered a massive ripple effect. This becomes a legendary clout boost. A pink-themed streamer named Small Long tries to chase the drama. Mocking the devs backfires instantly. Small Long starts raging at his chat. How does a newbie get a Smurf ban? He spills that a Punk. Executives stepped in because the lower staff ghosted Almond's emails. But Small Long's hype over reaching 100,000 views in 3 hours crashes. He has zero proof of our boy's god-tier skills. Viewers revolt and spam for clips. The casuals don't care about corporate drama. They just want the player, the prodigy whose talent literally broke the system. Meanwhile, at the apartment, Sang-hyun watches his all-tube views explode toward 400,000 as manager Joo-hyuk loses his mind. Is it a glitch? Our protagonist stays cold, he reminds Joo-hyuk. Viral fame is a fleeting spark. He refuses to let his heart waver over a temporary flame, grounding himself. Focus is an archer's lifeline, but his chill evaporates the second he logs in. The chat is a blur of pure chaos. 2,000 viewers instantly flood in. Panicking before the intro ends, he bangs into the door and falls out. He mumbles a lame excuse, but Joo-hyuk sends a roasting message, clowning him for acting tough earlier. The massive glow-up is real. Viewers hit 2,910 and blast past 3,700. Proof that Almond has officially breached the mainstream far beyond just the gaming niche. To stay centered, he recalls his days as a pro athlete. The stage is digital now, but the crushing pressure is the same as the stadium. Under the bright lights, Sang-hyun locks in and starts the show. Using a clean blue slide deck, he exposes the band drama and Punk's rescue. The chat turns savage against the admins. Small Long's rumors were actually facts. A troll tries to kill the vibe with a 1,001 donation, calling it a dead game, but Almond just grins. He drops his master plan. For 4,000 live viewers. He's going solo after that squad game fail. The chat exhales in relief as he cues for a solo match. Skepticism is still high. Veterans bet he won't even crack the top 90 without a bow, since pros get wiped in 5 seconds flat. But the hate doesn't faze him. He has everything to prove. Suddenly, a viewer named Believe You drops a massive 300,001 challenge for a win. Determination ignites. Almond's focus turns lethal. This match will define his whole career. It's either a one-hit wonder or total superstardom. The screen flashes white. Enveloped in blue light, He grips his gear ready to silence the doubters. Time to show them the real superstar power. The heavy thumping of helicopter blades shreds the sky, signaling the start of the war. Inside the transport, the vibe is pure carnage. A brutal drill sergeant screams at the recruits to jump. A player nearby trembles in fear. Is that a bot or a real person? Almond sits near the edge. Remembering his last forced jump, he waits for the perfect tactical opening. Diving into the heat, the scorched desert reveals a wasteland of ruins. He realizes his past failures were from hot dropping. This time, he's hunting for a quiet zone to loot. As he falls, the silk deploys, a lone silhouette against the sun while his chat goes absolutely wild. The chat's already placing bets on whether he'll faceplant again. But our hero sticks the landing perfectly, full-on superhero style. Fans go wild, dropping donations as his skill level visibly evolves. Songyun hits a lonely stone shack to gear up in total silence. Jackpot. He finds a compound bow, despite the chat's relentless trolling. He finally has his weapon. Then a faint rustle breaks the peace. Reflexes on point, he spins around as a shadow looms nearby. Songyun doesn't wait. He charges through the building to take control. He vaults through the window, catching his prey completely off guard. Airborne and lethal, he draws back. One arrow whistles through the sky. Boom, instant headshot. The lobby is stunned by that insane speed. He tracked him by sound alone, even his manager is watching. Ju-hyuk is floored. Our boy is officially a composed, cold-blooded pro now. Songyun moves with total conviction, predicting every single enemy rotation. He spots a runner in the dunes and aims high. Gravity does the rest. Dead center. That's absolute god-tier accuracy. The chat is losing it. Newbies are shocked while veterans just smirk. For Almond, headshots are the only way. But trouble is coming. 4 kilometers to go. The Blue Death is closing in fast. He loots a tactical medkit. This will be his lifeline very soon. The chat screams about a shotgun on the floor. But Songyun, pure archer vibes only, he shamelessly acts like the gun is invisible. He walks away grinning, picking signature style over boring modern firepower. The blue energy hits. Songyun grits his teeth against the toxic burn. One energy drink later, he reaches the border of the chaotic zone. Welcome to bronze rank, where motorcyclists literally flip over random rocks. It's a total circus. People are screaming for medics and fighting over bikes. Songyun is speechless. These guys are playing a completely different game. Surrounded by clumsy rookies, he watches the safe zone shrink away. Blue lightning streaks the sky as gunfire echoes through the ruins. Tension peaks. One sweaty player waves a pistol in total panic. Stay back, he bellows, his voice cracking from the pure stress. Fighting inside the collapsing zone. That is pure, unadulterated madness. A stray bullet grazes the wall. The chat is absolutely dying. Songyun knows he has to end this circus immediately. If it's a shithole, you play by shithole rules. Bow ready. A sniper freezes. An archer, sprinting through the open sand. He's aiming mid-sprint. Suddenly, the entire lobby realizes the danger. They stop their brawling and turn every single gun toward Almond. It's a 4-on-1 standoff. The chat is losing their minds. Songyun pulls a flechette arrow and smirks. This feels familiar. He's back in the athlete's village, a vivid memory from his youth. Being the nice guy meant he was adopted by elite seniors. Their version of love meant grueling matches during every lunch break. Collapsing on the field or missing screens, those pros never held back. Our young archer is constantly running on empty. A breakthrough arrives when his mentors finally notice. He is completely frozen by the wall of defenders. One senior roars that since there's no passing lane, he needs to fake them out. Archery usually only involves tricking a judge, so the idea of deceiving an enemy is total gibberish to him. His coaches explain that. He doesn't have to be faster. He just needs to create a split-second opening with a feint, but he can't half-step it. To fool a pro, every gaze, waist, tilt, and footstep must be terrifyingly real. Sang-hun absorbs the lesson. During a soccer match, his razor-sharp feint leaves a national-tier defender stumbling. And losing all balance, he rifles the ball into the net, leaving the pros stunned that an archery brat actually played them like a fiddle. He once thought this was useless for his sport, but today, its true value awakens. Back in the virtual world, our protagonist unleashes those pro instincts. Gunfire erupts. He dives into the sand, playing dead. As the enemies bicker and scream about trolling, Almond seizes the moment. He looses an arrow with a blinding flash of light, nailing the enemy's forehead perfectly. A system alert screams across the screen, double kill. Only 74 players remain. As the smoke clears, our boy stands up, letting out a heavy, weary breath. He's gasping, knees sinking into the desert sand. His health points are flashing in the danger zone. Farming all day just to get shredded in seconds is beyond frustrating. He can't help but feel the salt rising. While applying a first aid kit, he grumbles about the brutal difficulty. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Kim Ju-hyuk is staring at his screen in pure disbelief. His jaw drops as the live viewers hit. An insane 5,205. He jumps up, punching the air in a moment of triumph. Ju-hyuk remembers his corporate marketing days. His high-stakes noise strategy regarding the admin drama was the ultimate double-edged sword. Sure, the chaos brought the crowd, but now, it's all on Sang-hun to keep them hooked. Watching our hero charge forward through the desert, Ju-hyuk shakes off the nerves. If anyone can handle this pressure like a king, it is Sang-hun. From above the wasteland, the view is clear. Almond is on an absolute rampage. With a stylish flick of his bow, he snatches another headshot. That is 12 kills on the board already. The stream chat is losing its collective mind. But our hero isn't even looking at the hype. He is already looting the body. All he finds are basic bandages and trash items, no high-tier gear in sight. Almond complains that a decent helmet is still avoiding him, despite his systematic slaughter of the competition. The viewers are dying of laughter. In this low-rank lobby, most players are too busy dying to farm anything. When a donor suggests raiding houses instead of corpses, our boy claps back with cold, hard logic. Since house loot is mid at best, he will just let others do the hard work for him. He will simply take their gear by force. This human farming strategy earns him a terrifying new nickname, the Helmet Murderer. Our protagonist declares that from now on he is only hunting players with head protection. He promises the no-helmet squad a free pass, well, in theory at least. That mercy is tested instantly when movement flickers in the distance. He spots a player without a helmet and prepares to let him slide. But the fool makes the mistake of aiming a gun. The enemy's finger twitches on the trigger, but our hero reacts with god-tier speed. His arrow strikes like a comet, instantly deleting the threat. As the body drops, Almond sighs, noting the guy was way too loud for someone, without any head armor. The chat is stunned by his savagery, but Sang-hun is already moving on. He is distracted by the exploding donation alerts. Curious, he finally glances at the live viewer count. His eyes nearly pop out. 5,549 people are watching. He flashes back to his manager Ju-hyuk, explaining the golden rule. Crossing 5,000 viewers is the gate to pro status. This means a massive monthly paycheck. Our boy starts blushing, realizing his dream is actually happening. He tries to lock back in, vowing never to look at the numbers again during a match. Focus is everything. As he fights to regain his composure, the legend of Almond is just beginning. A lethal clink echoes. A grenade rolls. A toxic sniper strikes. Meet Bubble Sniper. These rats haunt the platform to harass streamers. Their goal, pure sabotage. Behind a tree, the sniper underestimates Almond. He primes a lethal explosive, aiming to clear a path. Almond has 2 seconds. The sniper predicts an easy delete, but our hero executes a high-speed feat that breaks logic. In a blur, Almond strikes the grenade mid-roll with an arrow. Physics yields. The grenade flies back. The sniper walks away. A whistle rings. He looks up. His own grenade descends. Boom. The sniper is launched, battered into a smoking crater. Almond approaches the target with cold professional execution. A lucky drop. The enemy was rocking a high-tier helmet. Before he can plead, an arrow secures the loot. Chat explodes. How did a bow deflect a grenade? Almond shrugs. He treated the explosive like a soccer ball. A perfect angle did the trick. The zone is shrinking. Almond sprints across ruins, systematically deleting the entire lobby. Mid-air snipes. Rapid eliminations. The player count vanishes instantly. The final circle. A forest. Almond smirks with lethal confidence. But the final boss waits. Bubblegum is hidden, scoped in. Gillied up, he aims his high-powered rifle at Almond. Fans mock him. His win rate is a pathetic 0%. Donations flood in just to clown his lack of skill. He ignores them, banking on his high-ground advantage. Peace shatters. 3 targets appear. Bubblegum fumbles his aim. He realizes this is his shot at a legendary win. Chat predicts a choke. He squeezes the trigger anyway. A miracle. A massive explosion fills the sniper's frame. One-shot elimination. Even the streamer can't believe he hit it. Emboldened, he tracks his next victim. But someone's faster. A player falls. Almond's golden banner steals the kill feed. Chat roars with laughter. The king of chokes is back. Furious Bubblegum spots the man with the compound bow. A bow in the endgame, then a chill hits him. Almond is staring directly through his high-powered scope. It feels like a god-tier stare-down. Bubblegum ignores the fear. He racks the bolt. To him, the archer is food. He believes a bow can't compete with sniper velocity. He fires with a smug remark. Then reality breaks. The bullet screams forward. Almond's black arrow is already flying. Steel meets wood. The arrow strikes the bullet mid-air. Bubblegum freezes. Was it a bug or a god? Refusing reality, he chambers another round, his hands trembling. Almond charges through the field, drawing a new arrow. Another collision. This isn't luck, this is pure dominance. That's raw nightmare-tier prowess. Bubblegum is literally shaking. Realizing his heavy artillery is useless against Almond's primitive wood and string, suddenly Almond slips into the shadows, leaving a panicked Bubblegum scanning every window. Tables turn instantly as Almond's silhouette fills the sniper's own lens. leveling his bow right at the shooter's head. Before the sniper can blink, Almond lets fly at point-blank range. The shaft obliterates the scope, glass piercing straight through in a crimson spray. Bubblegum is deleted in third place. Left slumped in his setup, in real life, completely mentally boomed. But even after that L, he's so hooked on this legendary archer that he stays to watch the finale with 50,000 fans. Back in the zone, Almond kneels among a graveyard of arrows. He calmly notes that since snipers and bows share similar rhythms, the counter was simple math. The chat is losing it over this absolute giga-chad logic. While Almond explains he'd rather dictate the pace than gamble his life on luck. This insane flex triggers a landslide of donations, including a massive 300,001 from a whale. Our boy gives a quick nod to the bag, but locks back in. There's only one target left. He senses the final player playing it dangerous and quiet, likely camping, and praying for a cheap shot. Almond goes prone, vibrating with focus as he listens for a single blade of grass to crunch. Suddenly, his gaze sharpens. He pivots into a crouch toward a far-off stone wall, drawing back with lethal intent. Even with the chat seeing nothing, Almond's arrow streaks through the air and dinks the enemy's helmet. The player staggers back, terrified that their perfect hiding spot just got exposed. Almond realizes this isn't some elite pro, just a lucky camper. In a panic, the guy sprays his SMG, catching Almond in the shoulder. Our MC doesn't flinch dismissively, calling out the trash aim. Still, things are getting tedious, as the enemy scurries behind cover. That's when Almond spots it. The final player is rocking a massive, legendary golden brown helmet. Since that S-tier gear can tank a direct headshot, his signature one-tap won't cut it. Almond admits it's a drag, but he doesn't lose his cool for a second, deciding that a tanky boss just needs a few more holes. He cranks back his compound bow, with eyes full of cold determination. He looses a bolt that strikes the gold plating with a violent metallic ring. The sheer force slams the opponent pitch-tone onto his knees in the dirt with a choked scream. As Almond waits for a counterattack, the entire screen is whited out by a massive blast. Pitch-tone has popped a desperate smoke cloud, making the chat roast his chaotic, stall-heavy tactics. Grenades and flashes start raining out of the gray fog, forcing our hero to weave through a literal gauntlet of fire. The stream is going wild, laughing at Pitch-tone's pathetic farming meta just to stay breathing. Almond knows if he lets the guy heal, he'll lose his hard-earned momentum. Thankfully, a muffled cough betrays the camper's location, just as the haze begins to lift. Locking on our protagonist notches another arrow. He thinks about why he loves the bow. In this specific world, it's the ultimate silent killer compared to a loud, clunky gun. While Pitch-tone hides in the thinning smoke, frantically wrapping a bandage, Almond releases the trigger. The arrow buries itself in Pitch-tone's chest, leaving him in pure disbelief at the pinpoint accuracy. Without a single gunshot, the fight turns sad as a mangled Pitch-tone crawls toward two grenades, his hands trembling with desperation. Almond isn't letting another explosion go off, and pins Pitch-tone's hand to the dirt just as he reaches for the pin. Because that smoke should have blinded everyone, Pitch-tone is left howling in confusion at how he's being hunted like this. Our boy just sighs, noting he had to kill him this slowly because of that annoying legendary helmet. Before the enemy can even check the streamer's name, one final shot secures the bag. Confetti explodes across the desert sky as the system declares Almond the ultimate champion. He's walked away with a monstrous 31 kills, sending the chat into a frenzy, while fans joke about another ban. With those god-tier numbers, our hero hoists his bow in a victory pose. Back in the lobby, Sang-yoon flips on his cam to show some love to the fans. He starts checking the donation list when a glowing purple alert flashes across his screen. A whale named Persistent Thrower just dropped a massive 1.5 million won donation. It's the biggest bag Sang-hun's ever secured, leaving him and his manager Ju-hyuk completely shook. Ju-hyuk dives straight into detective mode, hunting down the mystery donor's digital footprint. He spots the handles Persistent Thrower and Strategist on ancient donor lists from a decade back. These aren't clout-chasing trolls, they're legendary OGs with spotless records. A smirk creeps onto Ju-hyuk's face. They're finally getting paid, and silencing that toxic ex-boss manager Park. Back on stream, Sang-hun sweating a gift this huge needs a reaction that hits different. For 300,000, he did a flip. Now he has to go full beast mode. He grabs his compound bow, knowing his reputation is on the line right now. He executes 3 insane mid-air backflips before launching a celebratory arrow into the heavens. He waves a triumphant goodbye, but the logout turns into an absolute fail. The screen glitches back to reveal Almond standing there, with an arrow buried in his own skull. The chat goes wild with laughter, trolling about somersault, inflation breaking the entire game. Off-camera, Sang-hun is losing it, screaming at Ju-hyuk for missing the cut. Ju-hyuk just laughs, admitting he fumbled the keys because the ending was so abrupt. Once the hype dies down, Sang-hun hits the shower to wash off the day's grind. Under the steaming water, he replays the match, realizing even in bronze he almost got cooked. He stares down his reflection with fire in his eyes, vowing to level up for the diamond ranks. He's determined to sharpen his skills for the real monsters waiting in the higher tiers. Later, Joo-hyuk asks if he knows the streamer Bubblegum, the creator who kept Sang-hun sane during corporate hell. Turns out that sniper Almond deleted at the end. That was the GOAT himself, Bubblegum. Joo-hyuk pulls up a clip showing the massive creator reacting to Almond's insane gameplay. Bubblegum is losing his mind over Almond's aim in front of 50,000 live viewers. He can't believe this is only Almond's second match. Joo-hyuk is hyped about the massive clout. But Sang-hun goes quiet, retreating to his room as a wave of weird emotions hits him. He's touched his idol, finally knows he exists, but it stings that the moment felt one-sided. He checks the community forums to clear his head, and his jaw absolutely drops. A new post is blowing up, and he's stuck in bed staring at the screen in pure disbelief. This isn't a dream, our boy is officially trending #1 on the Battle 31 community. The top clips are all his, showing him absolutely dismantling the infamous bubble sniper. Meanwhile, Seojia is hunched over her glowing monitor long after midnight. Her eyes are glued to Almond's footage and complex sound waves, ignoring her own exhaustion. Her stomach is screaming for food, but she doesn't give a damn about hunger right now. After everything she's been through, physical pain is nothing compared to the hype of this edit. Almond's stream is her safe haven, where the ghost of the man who ruined her life disappears. Fueled by pure respect, Gia locks in with intense focus and deadly precision. She's crafting storyboards and layers of sound, mapping out the perfect slow-mo for Almond's god-tier shots. A ping snaps her out of it, she checks the stats, and sees the donation bar exploding. She freezes, seeing that massive 1.5 million won gift from Persistent Thrower. Panic sets in, as she realizes she's been bumped to second place on the donor leaderboard. She almost opens her wallet to reclaim her throne, but then she stops herself. She realizes her true value is her talent. She grabs an iced coffee and vows to make this legendary. After grinding through the entire night, Gia finally collapses at her desk. At 7 a.m., she hits send on a final message to Joo-hyuk before passing out. Moments later, the notification bell pings for thousands of fans. The premiere is live. The AllTube chat is exploding. Fans are losing their minds over a 5-minute wait that feels like an eternity. Back in the apartment, Joo-hyuk and Sang-hyun are glued to the screen. Joo-hyuk is buzzing with hype as the chat blurs past. It is total madness. Nearly 115,000 viewers are practically kicking down the digital doors to get in. Joo-hyuk is a nervous wreck, praying the video delivers. But our main man, he is as cool as ice. Joo-hyuk cannot believe his stoic vibe. Suddenly, Sang-hyun points out that the premiere has finally kicked off. Artistic visuals and soft piano notes fill the air, catching our hero off guard. The music is gentle, yet powerful. It creates this electric harmony with his every move. Sang-hyun realizes the directing is absolutely top-tier stuff. Gia is a genius. She balanced the tension so even non-gamers can feel the adrenaline. Then comes the legendary 4 versus 1 defense. Seeing it from the outside, he realizes just how badly he clapped them. While those enemies were screaming in terror, the chat is dying of laughter. The vibe feels personal, like a shared secret. The hype reaches a boiling point as the video shifts to the infamous Steam Sniper showdown. Gia flashes a stylish banner for Steam Sniper, using slick captions to frame the ultimate choice: fight or flight. The world slows down, focusing on Almond's sharp gaze. He effortlessly bats away a grenade with a single arrow. A massive crimson and gold explosion rocks the screen. The viewers are absolutely floored by the sheer audacity. The video ends on a massive cliffhanger for the final boss, Bubblegum. Sang-hyun watches closely, wondering about the fallout. Will this hit harder than the live forums? The answer arrives in an instant as the chat goes nuclear. Comments like, "Oh my god," and "unbelievable" flood the feed. Joo-hyuk nearly crushes Sang-hyun's shoulder in pure ecstasy. Bubblegum official boards are getting nuked with threads about Almond. This video is a certified viral masterpiece. Elsewhere, Park Sung-tae sits frozen in his living room. He stares at the television, completely mesmerized by the screen. He is captivated by this rookie who just broke the internet. Who is this mysterious archer who came from nowhere? The elite streaming world is built on iron consistency. Bubblegum has been grinding for over 10 years straight. No breaks, no excuses, only fixed holidays. He is a marathon legend who has seen every creator in the game. His veteran manager, Park Sung-tae, usually sees it all as routine. But this new kid Almond feels different. Sung-tae knows viral moments are wild, but researching Yoo Sang-hyun background leaves him shaking. Our boy has only been playing virtual reality for 3 weeks. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Performing world-class moves in his second match of Battle Large is statistically impossible. He is a literal glitch. Sung-tae rewatches the clip, where the archer parries a bullet, with an arrow, noting the massive skepticism online. Trolls claim it is fake or staged with computer graphics. They think Bubblegum is just chasing clout with a script. But Sung-tae knows better. You cannot fake a raw replay on Tribi without the whole world finding out. A 10-year pro like Bubblegum would never throw his career away for a cheap prank. The skill is real. The manager is still baffled by the insane skill gap. Suddenly he has a breakthrough. They need something big. He decides on a legendary collaboration that will break the internet once and for all. A bold new play. Meanwhile, the community is losing it over clips of Bubblegum getting absolutely smoked by a random sniper. Back home, Sung-hyun is stunned. His name is being dropped right next to a Tier 1 superstar. He used to watch this veteran for comfort during his darkest days. Now, they are peers. Our hero feels nothing but deep respect. Joo-hyuk is just as shocked, realizing what 50,000 live viewers means. That is true celebrity status. While Joo-hyuk dreams of the fat stacks, our boy defends the streamer. He knows Bubblegum is a real one living a simple life just to provide for his 2 kids. This respect comes from knowing the struggle. Bubblegum might be a titan now, but he started from the bottom. He was not naturally funny or gifted at games. He had nothing but his own 2 hands. The veteran survived the cutthroat market through pure, unadulterated grit and a heavy sense of duty. This earnest soul reminds our hero of a reliable childhood friend from the playground, a true pillar of strength. Because of that bond, Sang-hyun respects the man hustle, even if his gaming skills are a bit mid. Thanks to Gia editing magic, the channel is soaring. They hit 80,000 views in only 5 hours. But with great fame comes the dark side. A massive wave of hate comments is beginning to crash. Skeptics stay roasting Sang-hyun for rotting in the bottom-tier bronze rank. Joo-hyuk fears the toxicity might break him, yet Sang-hyun stays ice-cold and unbothered. Solo-raised and battle-hardened petty insults can't touch him. He treats their hate as pure fuel. That ironclad mental game makes Joo-hyuk realize why Manager Park was low-key terrified. You can't control someone who laughs at hostility. To silence doubters, Sang-hyun prepares his move. Deep Dive VR eats stamina like crazy, leaving Joo-hyuk stressing over the physical toll. Sang-hyun brushes it off, being called a genius while rotting in bronze is the real insult. While plotting their grind, Joo-hyuk bursts in waving a high-stakes urgent email. It's a Salvation Project offer. Almond must coach a veteran, but it carries a massive catch. No collab happens until Sang-hyun hits Diamond, the prestigious peak of the competitive ladder. The climb is brutal, but our hero doesn't flinch. He locks in with iron resolve. The impossible challenge only fuels his fire as he hits go live at 3 p.m. The weird timing catches fans off guard, but the channel's growth is already explosive. 1,000 viewers flood the chat instantly, bragging about skipping work just to watch him. Almond grins from his capsule, fully prepared to drop a massive bombshell on the chat. He declares his diamond rank goal, sparking a chaotic and hilarious linguistic mix-up. Since diamond sounds like die almond in Korean, the chat thinks he's making dark jokes. Smirking confidently, our boy vows to conquer the elite diamond rank in just 14 days. The chat has a total meltdown. Diamond status is reserved for the top 0.5%. Fans think he's delusional, noting even legend John Japa needed a full month for that grind. Sang-hyun's timeline sounds impossible, but the man himself remains cool and completely unfazed. He calmly claims the math checks out, while the chat continues to roast him relentlessly. He must hit top 10 in every single match, a feat that terrifies even veteran pros. Amidst the laughter and clickbait accusations, Sang-hyun low-key knows how insane this sounds. Being a rookie with only 2 matches played, absolutely nobody believes in his vision. Remembering his record-shattering tutorial run, his eyes sharpen. Breaking limits is just another Tuesday. No pressure, just pure hype. This electrifying tension is exactly what he's been craving. The climb officially begins. Meanwhile, Joo-hyuk stares at his tablet jaw practically on the floor. Watching Sang-hyun's shaky landings, Joo-hyuk questions the logic of a perfect top 10 streak. This high-stakes style makes the strategist's head spin, but frustration soon shifts to respect. He realizes that the quiet, aloof Sang-hyun from their toxic office was just a facade. Inspired by that fire in Sang-hyun's eyes, Joo-hyuk stops playing safe and goes all in. The manager embraces the chaos, fanning the flames of rumors across the community forums. Trusting Sang-hyun's cracked talent, he leaks that Almond is gunning for a world record run. Ignoring constant calls from his parents, Joo-hyuk shuts out the pressure of his personal life. He's locked into their shared dream, whispering words of hype to the monitor. He's upping the stakes to ensure a massive payout on this high-risk gamble. Back in-game fans beg for a winning strat, and Almond just flashes a grin. He's diving straight into the arsenal, sending the chat into another total panic attack. Since the arsenal is an early-game death trap, fans assume he's thirsty for a gun. But our boy is Team Bao for life. He kicks open the heavy doors and enters the darkness. The hall is a chaotic war zone of players locked in a messy, itemless brawl. While everyone is distracted, Sang-hyun clocks some throwing knives sitting on a metal table. He lunges for the steel before anyone else can even blink. He eyes the throwing knives on the table, moving to snatch one instantly. A cloaked rat snatches his wrist, greedy for the loot. But our hero counters with a devastating, rising kick to the jaw, sending the thief reeling. While the coward groans in agony, Sang-hyun flicks a blade skyward, sniping him with pinpoint accuracy. The steel buries itself in the enemy's skull. Boom. One tap. The chat loses it over this home run, questioning if our hero was a pro ball player. Memories flood back to the training camp, where a baseball senior forced young Sang-hun into grueling pitching drills. Archer or not, those legendary throws are paying off now. A massive 5,001 donation pops up. The fan realizes Sang-hun hit the arsenal first to stomp the lobby before they can even find gear. Almond smirks, confirming his plan: harvest as many souls as possible, while they are still defenseless. Pure chaos follows. Sensing a shotgun blast, our hero slides through the dirt just as lead shreds the air. He lunges through the smoke, silencing the shooter before sweeping the rest of the stone halls. Almond stands over a literal mountain of legendary loot. But instead of looting up, he cracks open a jerry can, soaking the top-tier rifles in gas with a cold, nonchalant comment. A single flame ignites the pile, turning a fortune into ash. The viewers are screaming at this villainous, scorched earth strategy. By burning the armory, Almond guarantees that if he cannot have them, neither can his enemies. Now his bow reigns supreme over this empty wasteland. The protagonist guns the engine of a bike tearing through the dunes. A cinematic blast frames his exit. He rides toward the horizon, leaving a literal graveyard in his wake. Victory screen. Almond clutches the crown with a mind-blowing 50-kill streak. That diamond in 2 weeks challenge suddenly feels like a promise. This level of dominance is insane. The chat is in total shock. Anyone who left for a snack for even a second came back to an empty lobby. The hype train explodes with a tidal wave of donations. Fans are memeing about a corpse buffet, while others fear a banhammer is incoming. His stats look straight up illegal, but our guy is chill, resting inside his VR capsule like a boss. He gives a quick nod to the donors, then instantly queues up for the next slaughter. While Almond grinds, his manager, Ju Hyuk, is cooking up a marketing storm behind the scenes. He is glued to the screen, pumping out viral rage bait clips to bait the haters. He is weaponizing Almond's bold diamond claim to spark a massive internet war. The plan is working. People who came just to talk trash about a bronze scrub are now staying because his gameplay is simply undeniable. The hype is real. Ju Hyuk watches the numbers climb, palms sweaty, knowing he is basically going all in on a high-stakes gamble. A win means a legend is born. A loss, the hate will be soul-crushing. Meanwhile, back in the virtual zone, a helicopter roars overhead as a new war begins. Players dive into a decaying desert town. Almond sticks a flawless landing while the noobs fumble their chutes. He spots a squad, gunning for the legendary arsenal. It is a loot heaven, and that means one thing: total carnage. But Almond is not here for the guns everyone else is dying for. He hits the roof like a shadow blade in hand, ready to hunt the scavengers below. Victim number 1 is a guy in camo, way too focused on a jammed door. He never hears the Reaper. Almond drops down, carving a lethal arc across the man's chest. The dull blade does not kill it, just leaves him gasping in a pool of his own failure. A second player witnesses the horror and bolts, but there is no running from our guy. With surgical aim, he flicks his wrist. The knife finds a home right in the runner's skull. Instant delete. Almond reclaims his blade and stalks toward the roof access. He knows the first guy is still crawling for that door, without even turning around. He tosses the steel over his shoulder. A scream erupts as the blade pins the guy's hand. Ju Hyuk warns that early game wounds are fatal since high-tier recovery items are extremely rare. Almond towers over the trembling survivor with a chilling smirk. The victim stammers, asking why he's so aggressive. Our hero coldly explains he's just climbing the ladder. One ruthless/later double kill secured. The massacre continues as Almond clears the building. He corners the final survivor cowering in the dark. The player clutches a knife with shaking hands, but Almond's sheer pressure forces him into tears. Chat trolls the coward, but Almond is locked in. Desperate, the enemy leaps from the roof to escape. He slams into the pavement, groaning. For a second, he thinks he's escaped the monster. Wrong. Almond is airborne. He drops like a meteor, using his weight to crush the player instantly. Since the enemy's body absorbed the shock, Almond sticks the landing, with 0 damage taken. He finishes the kill with a quick strike. With the area clear, a motorcycle catches his eye. He guns the engine and drifts toward the arsenal, where players are plotting a basement raid. Inside, the squad freezes. A motorcycle suddenly flies through the air, hurtling straight at them. Despite chat's warnings that he's too late, Almond just flashes a confident, cocky smirk. It doesn't matter. He launches the bike off a ledge, soaring over the crates like a demon. Mid-air execution. He deletes the enemy with a knife strike, before his feet even hit the floor. Almond lands perfectly and looks forward with a smile, while the chat goes absolutely nuclear. Our boy strolls past his bike toward a fresh pile of loot left by his victims. He's hunting for gear. Luck peaks as he finds a legendary black compound, bow, and explosives. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the dark basement. 3 players are drooling over top-tier weapons. They think the gamble paid off. Their celebration, however, is about to be cut short. Boom! A massive fire explosion engulfs the room, silencing their chatter in an instant. Almond dropped a Molotov down the hatch. The metal hallway turns into a literal furnace. Total panic ensues as smoke chokes the corridor. The basement is now a burning death trap. System alerts flash red. They scramble for the exit, but the narrow stairs create a bottleneck. Amidst the screaming, a golden banner pops up. A perfect arrow just pierced a player's skull. The survivor in the red mask fires back blindly, his vision clouded by the thick smoke. He's hitting nothing but his own dead teammates. This confusion lets Almond maintain his dominant position. The last survivor scans the dark with a sniper. Almond's blue eye glows with intense focus. Using high-speed movement, our hero becomes a blur. He readies a shot at the stairs. He releases a black-tipped arrow that streaks through the air like a literal railgun. It arcs down perfectly, slamming into the red-masked foe. Double kill for the god of war. The player in yellow is paralyzed. Hiding behind crates, he prays that Almond has moved on. Too bad for him. Our boy is 10 steps ahead, sensing the final survivor lurking in the fog. Almond tosses a grenade down. Yellow Jacket can only stare in horror as it rolls to his feet. A massive explosion consumes the room. Triple kill secured for the undisputed king of the lobby. Almond descends the stairs, face like stone. His hunter's intuition was flawless once again. This absolute slaughter goes viral. Clips titled, "Almond the Ranked Genghis Khan," trend instantly. Thousands of new viewers flood the stream to witness the carnage of a legend. Ju-hyuk cheers as the forums explode with interest. He realizes something very important. Even with haters attacking Almond's personality, the engagement is hitting record highs. Skills don't lie. As long as our hero dominates, the haters are just paying customers. 30 minutes later, the first-place victory banner flashes. The winning streak continues. This win is massive. Battle Large uses a 5-match placement system to rank players. If he sweeps all 5, he skips the low-tier grind and lands straight into gold. With the path to diamond in sight, our hero leaps back into the fray. He dives back toward the arsenal for his next match, but a chaotic variable suddenly intercepts him mid-flight. Almond glances sideways and spots a familiar shadow. It is Bubble Sniper, the notorious diamond-ranked predator. The sniper is back for blood, eyes burning with rage after being embarrassed in their previous encounter. While they plunge toward the earth, Ju-hyuk watches from his desk in a state of absolute despair. The odds of encountering a diamond-tier sniper during placements are 0. A single loss here would shatter Almond's dreams of hitting gold. Ju-hyuk feels helpless watching this career-defining moment from the sidelines. His terror quickly transforms into a wicked grin when he notices Almond's defiant reaction. Unshaken, our boy flips Bubble Sniper the bird mid-fall. The sniper cackles at the nutman's sheer audacity. Ju-hyuk finds his own resolve. His job is not to worry, but to make this victory legendary. He begins typing at light speed, infiltrating the Bubble Fan Cafe to spark some serious drama. By leaking that an elite sniper is about to get cooked by a rookie, he skyrockets the views. The audience swells to nearly 4,000 as the rivals scream toward the crumbling arsenal ruins. Down in the desert, Ju-hyuk watches with total conviction. This has evolved far beyond a simple game. This is the final reckoning between the archer and the sniper. Ju-hyuk's aggressive marketing keeps the internet buzzing. A spicy forum post claiming the infamous troll is about to be humbled draws thousands of eyes. While skeptics doubt a bow can beat a rifle, Ju-hyuk watches the viewer count surge past 4,000. He realizes this match is a total box office hit, perfect for a viral moment. It pits a natural-born prodigy against a veteran menace whose high-level skills are actually the real deal. This high-stakes drama pushes the live audience to 5,000, just as the final match ignites. Plunging through the atmosphere, our hero knows one mistake will kill his 2-week diamond goal. He spots the sniper's smug grin and knows the bully intends to crush his momentum. Almond remains ice-cold, calculating that his opponent is Diamond 1-3 ranks above his own target. The pro has definitely studied his patterns. To win, our protagonist decides to fight absolutely dirty. Still hundreds of feet in the air, he lunges forward and tackles Bubble Sniper mid-plummet. This insane mid-air brawl leaves the sniper in total shock as they spiral wildly through the sky. The chat explodes in laughter at the parachute scrap. Bubble Sniper eventually recovers, mocking Almond's cowardice. Our hero just smirks, reminding the troll that he already lost to a bronze player once before. That remark sends the sniper into a red-veined fury, but their argument is cut short by gravity. They slam into the terrain with a violent impact. Miraculously, both combatants survive the landing. Though dazed and coughing within a massive dust veil, Almond instantly springs back into action. He begins a tactical retreat, knowing a bare-knuckle brawl favors the veteran over the rookie. He charges toward the arsenal, desperately hunting for any weapon to level the playing field. He spots a blade on the floor and dives, but the sniper is right on his heels. Our boy hurls the knife at his pursuer, but what follows leaves the Nut Nation in despair. Bubble Sniper performs an incredible inverted dive, snatching the spinning handle mid-air. Pure Diamond 1 mechanical flex. Thinking the archer is finally cooked, the sniper retaliates by flinging the blade back with lethal intent. Instead of dodging the spinning death, our boy charges directly into the danger zone. He spots another knife near the sniper's feet and executes a god-tier mid-air somersault. He catches the flying knife, handle himself. The move leaves Bubble Sniper completely paralyzed in shock. Almond gives him zero breathing room, crashing into the sniper in a savage close-quarters struggle. Even as the sniper grabs a second blade, our hero focuses on one decisive killing blow. Blood spatters the screen as Almond drives steel through the sniper's skull. The elimination is confirmed. The beef is officially settled. The rookie has successfully buried the professional troll for good. Back at home, Joo-hyuk erupts in a victory roar at his dining table, pumping his fists. Finally free from his toxic family's gaze, he realizes that legendary decision-making defines a true star. His god-tier potential is now undeniable. The internet is melting down, dubbing this fight a lethal clash.